Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
I had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die?" Yo, reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now, a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Welcome to UFO Undercover, with your host, Joe Montaldo.
Good evening, everyone. For anybody asks, no, I'm not in a suit, and no shirt, no tie. Just calm down, okay? I already know I'm going to get 5,000 million emails. So welcome, everyone, to UFO Undercover. I hope y'all all having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on our big, beautiful blue planet. See, Jackie, right off the bat, you got to give me static. Oh, I know I didn't shave. No, it happens sometimes. Well, in the old days, I didn't do this show dressed up. Of course, it was on radio. A lot of times I was just in a short and a t-shirt running around. No, actually,
or business up top and party down below.
I got to plug my friends here. Right as the future.
L. Ron.
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard. Right as the future. I got to plug him up.
I
Right as the future is great.
Behind me, but I have there it is, way back there, the box set my girlfriend got for me.
Yeah, nice box set. What of what? Box set of what?
That's the L. Ron Hubbard box set.
Why you? Next time you want one of them, you tell me. I gave away 3 of them this year. I don't know if it's the same one. I'll have to let you see. I'll show you the one I got. And it's got 10 books in it. I think it's up to book 40, book 39, book 40. Oh, we give books away all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes. Not as much on this show as we do on other shows. Author's Quill, we give away a lot. United Public Radio.
So I'm not going to do it for very long, but there you have it. That's as close as I can get.
That's it. Oh, my God. I wish I'd have known I'd have got you one. I wish I did. She would.
No, my girlfriend got it for me for just out of the clear blue sky last year.
Yeah, well, if she would have went on the
I think she did
on our UPR and website, it would have been cheaper.
I think she did.
Did she? Because you saved money by doing it.
Yeah. I mean, she did it in secret, but she was watching the show on Roku at that point. And
what's that, Jenny? No. So no. You still can if you go through the website and the UPR website. You still get a discount. Yeah, it's like $40 or $60. It's a substantial discount. Maliva does that. Yes, Maliva's a nice person. Just for the fact that she puts up with my ass, she's a nice person. Everything's working good tonight. I don't want to curse, nothing. The only place we're not for sure is on UFO Paranormal, Facebook, but everything else. News and flip side.
Roku is off on my end, so.
Well, Roku's being an ass, but it's working. So it's because can I show us from here? I might be able to. I'll have to look and see. I got Roku on one of the computers back here, and so I can just keep up with shows from time to time. Yeah, because Glenn, because it don't matter. Pretty soon we're going to change all this anyway. But it was I got in a big fight with them, and then we changed a bunch of stuff, and then they changed a bunch of stuff on their end, and then we weren't happy with the stats we were getting because we see stats from everything. I mean, some places we don't get hardly any stats, and we get a lot, but it varies. But this is television. We have some pretty good looking hosts. We show a lot of strange shit. So you would think we'd have got a little more attention. Well, when they moved us to the live category, which is like flipping a coin to find this, but I find this pretty easy most times. So Roku has a whole live section with, I don't know, a couple of hundred live shows in it. And when they say live, you could be like Stargate Live, even though we know Stargate ain't been on in 30 years.
They got a lot of channels, and
they have a lot of
off, so I can streamline it for my viewing pleasure.
Yeah, so once I find something, I add a favorite thing to it. So with this, it stayed there. I tried it once before, it wouldn't stay, but then all of a sudden it took. Doesn't matter. We're fixing to change companies. All that's going to change in probably the second week of December. We're going to be changing things around a little bit. I haven't made up my mind yet because this company's offering us 2 for 1, and I don't know if it's going to be Apple, Samsung, or it could be Web TV, or it might be the evil Fire Stick. Yes, Satan Stick, as we call it here. It could be one of those. Yes. Satan Stick.
So I do have both Prime and a Prime Stick, so I can take it. It's portable. Yes. I can take it with me.
Well, I don't. Now you see, I'm confused about that because some stuff on that's on Prime, the stick you can't get on Prime, which is weird.
Yeah, that my Prime Stick may be out of date. It's really old, but
well, it's not that. I mean, you know how Roku's set up.
He hacked it open, so it's unlocked, so I can do things with it you can't normally do.
Which is a big plus because they do that with Roku too. So, Roku came first, and it was up to about 250 million. I think it's somewhere around 160 right now, 140 to 180. So I'm thinking 160 will round it up. Last time I checked Fire Stick, it was probably somewhere in the same neighborhood. So with the two of them, it offers
both of them start at $29.99. And then go up from there. And I think that with Roku, you get some more choices because Roku's actually, you can now buy televisions. Mm-hmm. It's built in. And then they also have, let's say you have a smart television, you can buy a sound bar with Roku built into it. So there's so many ways to get Roku. It's ridiculous. Prime,
and they make it easy. Everything's, right now.
And $34.99 and then I think $49.99.
So my Roku in the back, I bought a new remote. Well, not new. I bought it about a year ago, but I bought a new remote for my Roku. I got 3 Rokus in the house. So
did you get the rechargeable one?
I got the one that's voice active. I mean, you just say what you want.
It is also, but it plugs into a USB port, so you can recharge.
It actually does, but it actually comes both ways. You can put batteries or plug it in.
Oh, this one doesn't have batteries. Yeah. It's just rechargeable.
So yeah, I was surprised because I kept saying, "What the hell is?" I thought it was a SanDisk card at first, and then when I looked it up, that's not what it was. So it automatically, without doing anything, logged into my Vizio television and my Vizio sound bar instantly. It found it, got into it. So now one remote took the place of 3 now. It does everything. It turns on the TV, turns on the sound bar.
The only problem with the remotes, though, is there's no, and it pisses me off, there's no numbers. And they've gone to now, starting on the live channels, putting numbers on the channels on the newer Roku sticks. We have a newer Roku TV, and there's actual numbers there now.
But you see, that's why you get the voice activated.
So you can't dial it in.
But see, that's why you get the voice one. You just say 01. So no, the voice one's great. I have gotten spoiled with this thing.
They're voice activated now. All the remotes are.
They are. They're so easy to search with now. Look for this. Look for that. Because you got to go up to the search bar and type in. Shit's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's
just like what I was doing just
Alexa.
now.
It's very easy.
So now it's pretty easy. But no, tonight we're going to be talking about. So I had to go back and watch this hearing not once but twice,
Oof.
and we're going to
How many
talk
hours?
about it. It was a while. It was like 3, or no, it was longer than that actually. It was I think it was. Well, she was really strict on how she was doing time. 5 minutes for this one, 3 minutes for that one, 5, 5, 3, 3, 5, 5. And the young lady, I don't want to call her a little girl, the young lady, who's a house rep, I believe, was really pushing for some questions. She's not the only one. I mean, they were pushing for some questions, but there are some issues. But anyway, I think we have, let me see. Now, this clip's 17 minutes long, so we're going to be in and out of this clip. We're going to go, we're going to come back, we're going to go, we're going to come back. So, top 10 moments of the November 13th hearing. Okay. So let's just look at the ratings right off the bat. Oh, 7.5K. It said it's good. I don't see any negative ratings. So I'm just going to give it one just for shits and giggles. 437,000 views. That's a little, not much.
That's low.
Well, we're talking YouTube people.
It can be boring, but
so anyway, we're gonna Christopher, you can get us on Rumble, yeah. A lot of people like Rumble now. A lot of people do. I do put up some, so you will see other shows up there. So usually the shows you're going to see is this show, and the Arthur's Quill gets put up every week. But any shows that get done in video that week that are or not audio versions, just video versions, they also got to get put up. But I don't have the time to go sit and download everything off of YouTube to re-upload it. And if I take it off of StreamYard, they're like 4 gigs. It takes forever to upload it. And I got what 250 megs up, and it still takes forever. Those are big files, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's ridiculous how big these files are.
There she is.
And anyway, so we're getting ready to cue this up. Well, Leah's here first, so we'll say hi to Leah. Hello, Leah.
Hello.
Hello.
Leah.
I have a
Bob
laptop.
says hello too.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
connect it to the link you sent me.
What do you mean? You just click the link.
But you sent it to my phone, so I can connect directly.
Oh, so is your phone connected to your Facebook or something?
To your Facebook.
No, I don't have Facebook again.
Oh,
well,
crap.
You said you do. Okay. You still have a page.
But I deactivated it.
Well, the other day it was up there. I popped across my page the other day. Leah Dunbar, right? That's what it came up as. Are you sure you deactivated it? Go.
Did you get a haircut, Jay?
Yes. Well, I didn't get one. I did it myself.
He's sexy beast, man. He's, I tell him all the time he can't do too much. He's starting to look like Picard, and these women are going to drive him crazy.
I'm going to try and download SteamYard on this laptop.
StreamYard, go ahead. It's yeah, it'll make you, it'll send you, it'll let you try to log in, and it'll send me a code, and then I'll send you the code you can get in. Anyway, while Leah's playing with all that, we're going to play these links. So we're going to probably do 2 or 3 at a time. We'll see how long they are, and then we'll stop. We'll come back, talk a little bit about it. Bruce, I can't curse in this show, so you're lucky, okay? Yes, no cursing allowed on this show. No, that's Friday. Friday, I will tell you the
Friday's
fingers and everything. Yes. Unfortunately, I don't know how much longer it's going to be. We resolved some of our issues with our 107.7 towers in New Orleans. So we've been letting shows run across it. See, Roku, it's live shit. Anyway, we've been letting other shows run across our tower because of the limited audience. But now it looks like we're going to get most of our audience back. So we may have to tone it. I don't know. We'll see. We may just not put news and flip side in the city. We may say, well, it's some of this stuff it's hard not to curse about. Yeah. Oh, so before we go do this, so we got a show coming up with Jesus. It was going to be this week, but I forgot we got a guest this week. So it's going to be next week. So it's going to be, oh wait, is that going to be like the day before Thanksgiving? Yeah, I think it is.
Thanksgiving's the 28th, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's going to be the day before Thanksgiving. So, oh man, I don't know. That's a pretty serious topic, the day before Thanksgiving. I don't know. I might have to think about this. Think about it, Jay. Well, no, it'll be myself and Jay and Leah. We may send out a couple, and Michael. Yes, and Michael. I didn't even think about sending out Michael. I don't know if he wants to do UFO, but I'll have to ask him.
I'll send him one on Facebook.
Yeah, send him one, see if he wants to come. Michael Angley's back. Well, he's got a lot of stuff going on in his life, and we all have things going on in our lives. And Donald Trump called me yesterday and asked me if I wanted to replace him. I said, no, you can keep that job. My first order of business would be is to nuke Kim Jong-un and nuke Putin and tell Xi Jinping, you will surrender your country or you'll be next on my nuke list. Well, you didn't see Russia's building nuclear shelters for its soldiers. Oh, yes, I know. It's scary stuff. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight, so shame on all y'all for sending me stuff.
Aliens. And
we are here to talk about the hearing that happened on November 13th about yaps. Every time I hear somebody say yap, I want to just it sounds so ignorant.
And we're going to be
seeing leave it to Congress or the government to come up with a stupid acronym. I mean, really.
Well, I mean, really. They're trying to dethrone it or make it not as popular. I mean, UFO. Everyone looks up when you say UFO. When you say UAP, like, huh? No one, because it's not in the vernacular. It's too new.
And then people like me want to call it yaps, which makes it sound even worse. The guy the other day, it's not yap, Joe, it's UAP. And I said, well, what does UAP spell? Yap.
It's a UAP, yeah. Or well, what about the ones for underwater?
What is underwater now?
They have a goofy one for one underwater. I don't remember what it is, but it's like that.
Underwater submersible objects. Is that what it was? I'd have to go look into. Well, Chris, tell me if you know. If you think you know, tell us. No, we're getting ready to play this. So y'all ready? So they got another one on here you're gonna like too. So anyway, let's get these people going. And so y'all can hear what they have to say, and we're going to hit the little play button.
Some of the testimony you will hear them deliver today does not reflect well on influential individuals and agencies within the U.S. federal government and perhaps some of our contractors.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the most noteworthy moments from this historic congressional hearing, the results of which may see the American government open up about extraterrestrial activities.
AARO and the Pentagon have broken the law by not revealing a significant body of information about UAPs, including military intelligence databases that have evidence of their existence as physical craft.
Number 10. Nancy Mace blasts the Department of Defense.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing, and there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
Spearheaded by the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, the November 13th, 2024 hearing on UAPs, entitled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Exposing the Truth, got off to a fiery start, courtesy of outspoken Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina.
No amount of outside pressure would ever keep me from pursuing a subject to ground, come hell or high water. On that score, I want to thank our witnesses for being here. We have before us a panel of individuals accomplished in the military, in civilian government, in science, and in journalism.
True to the committee's goals and intentions, Mace explained that the hearing had been convened in the interest of transparency to taxpayers. Specifically, Representative Mace addressed the need for results, whether they identify the cause and true nature of UAPs or yield nothing at all. In perhaps her boldest moment, Mace noted that the Pentagon, quote, has failed 6 consecutive audits and that it had never successfully passed one.
Adding to this is a runaway overclassification of documents and materials, a reluctance to declassify materials when appropriate, and at times an outright refusal to share critical information with Congress.
Number 9, Luis Elizondo's explosive testimony.
Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Furthermore, the U.S. is in possession of UAP technologies, as are some of our adversaries.
Author and media personality Elizondo held nothing back during his testimony. This probably wasn't all that surprising to those who have followed his career. The self-described former Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program Director has, since at least 2017, been vocal about what he claims is a wide-ranging government conspiracy.
I believe we are in the midst of a multi-decade secretive arms race, one funded by misallocated taxpayer dollars and hidden from our elected representatives and oversight bodies.
That would be to keep the public in the dark about UAPs, and particularly their possible extraterrestrial origins. Although Elizondo's statement was by far the briefest of the men called to testify in front of Congress, it's hard to argue that it packed the biggest punch. Elizondo openly accused a small cadre within our own government of creating a culture of suppression and intimidation over the topic.
To the incoming administration and Congress, I say to you, we need immediate public transparency and this hearing is an important step on that journey. If we approach the UAP topic in the same way as we as Americans have met other challenges, we can restore our faith in our government institutions.
Number 8, a mysterious white orb over Kuwait.
And since my reporting on this immaculate constellation last month, another source came forward who told me that they saw a roughly 13-minute long, high-definition, full-color video of a white orb UAP coming out of the ocean approximately 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait.
Michael Schellenberger's testimony expressed the environmental journalist's belief that there is, quote, a growing body of evidence that the government is not being transparent about what it knows about unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, formerly called UFOs.
It was filmed from a helicopter. Then halfway through the video, the person said the orb is joined by another orb that briefly comes into the frame from the left before rapidly moving again out of the frame.
To his point, Schellenberger shared several examples from a whistleblower's report that described several confounding military encounters with supposed UAPs. Most notably of all, Schellenberger revealed that he had been informed of a, quote, 3-minute-long, high-definition, full-color video of a white orb UAP coming out of the ocean approximately 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait, end quote, declining to name his source.
The person discovered...
Let's stop right there for a minute. So, first off, Mr. Whoever the hell you are, orbs are probes. Most orbs are some type of probe being used, being sent around for whatever reason.
I've also seen the trash can type.
Well, I mean, I've seen probes that they get pretty big. I mean, I've seen them the size of a golf ball.
No, this trash can was probably like the size of like a telephone booth, but it was a cylinder floating in the daylight sky.
And I've seen them probably the size of jet airliners, but they're still the same thing. They're just, that's what they are. They just different purposes, different things moving around for different reasons. So when you look at these, in comes one of the other problems. I heard, I have not seen anything. So this will, and we're going to be listening to these other guys, but if it's true, which I've already listened to this, but I'm not going to say, if it's true and all of these guys are secondhand, or actually in this case, third-hand witnesses, what does that mean for the field? Not a thing.
Yeah,
if it was Friday night, I would have used a curse word there.
It amounts to exactly dick, pardon my expression, but I wrote that in the chat room. Elizondo is a plant, absolutely, but it's just another Georgia Tsoukalos. Georgia Tsoukalos he's been very good in getting this information. Not a lot of new information, but a lot of this information would not be as prominent if it weren't for him as well. But it amounts to exactly nothing. They haven't gotten anything done. And people like you asked me and other people asked me, what do you think about this new hearing about UFOs? I'm like, they're not going to do anything. Nothing's going to come of it except for someone's going to go, we need answers. And then they're not going to get them. So it's very disappointing.
Where are we on this guy's list? 3 or something? Anyway, here we go. We're gonna listen to some more now.
Yeah,
and people feel free to throw anything in there you want.
For the video on SIPR, the Secure Internet Protocol Router Network, which the DoD uses to transmit classified information.
Number 7, Representative Lauren Boebert takes a jab at President Biden.
Now that we have all been cautioned in this committee hearing that the mention of Pentagon's Immaculate Constellation program could put us on a list, well, I already find myself on many lists, I'm sure. So I speak my mind often, so why not just keep going with it?
Don't worry. We'll get to the secret, shadowy, immaculate constellation and what exactly that means in a little bit. For now, though, we'll focus on Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert's commentary on it.
May as well just go all out and say it. The earth is flat. Birds are government drones. And we've never set foot on the moon. And Joe Biden received 81 million votes in the 2020 election.
The controversial, outspoken congresswoman has been a staunch ally of President-elect Trump and has repeatedly reaffirmed his false claims that his 2020 electoral defeat of Joe Biden was illegitimate. In a move that was perhaps unsurprising to those familiar with Boebert's previously stated positions, she jokingly rattled off a list of claims that might get her in trouble with the Department of Defense, including a pointed comment about President Biden's 2020 vote count.
So let's just see how many lists we could get on here today. But Mr. Schellenberger, I wanted to ask you, I think I understand from this hearing that you would agree that classifying information like this is not in the best interest of the people. Is that correct?
Number 6, Elizondo doesn't rule out the possibility of aliens.
Okay, Mr. Elizondo, you state in your testimony that, quote, advanced technologies not by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe, end quote. If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence?
Luis Elizondo's 2024 memoir, Imminent, Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, was an instant smash hit, debuting at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Elizondo's book details seemingly unbelievable accounts of extraterrestrial activity on U.S. soil, as well as clandestine government efforts to cover it up.
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
It may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force Technologies, I would not be able to discuss.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am.
Testifying before Congress, Elizondo claimed that a previously signed document limited his ability to speak publicly about UAPs, and that the material covered in Imminent represents what he is legally permitted to discuss. As such, Elizondo stated unequivocally that the U.S. government has been involved in UAP crash retrieval operations, and that the search for alien life definitely had an impact.
I submitted for my book through the DOPSR process, which took a year for it to be reviewed. And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft? Yes or no?
Yes.
Number 5, Immaculate Constellation.
Representative Luna just told me if I say Immaculate Constellation, I'll be on some list. Maybe a FISA warrant. So come at me, bro, I guess. But
you don't want no FISA
without
warrant, chick, ain't that
objection,
big.
entered in the record.
See, we told you we were getting there. Perhaps the most mysterious aspect of the much anticipated congressional hearing. Multiple participants in Exposing the Truth semi-seriously remarked that simply mentioning the existence of the top-secret government UAP research would get them, quote, put on a list. Schellenberger emerged as the main proponent of not only the program's existence, but of its potential dangers.
The report that was just shared with Congress says Immaculate Constellation serves as a central or parent USAP that consolidates observations of UAPs by both tasked and untasked collection platforms. Immaculate Constellation includes high-quality imagery intelligence and measurement and signature intelligence of UAPs, the whistleblower's report adds.
The author testified that, quote, a source warned that simply printing the name Immaculate Constellation could trigger government surveillance of me under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, of whoever publishes it. As we mentioned earlier, Schellenberger declined to divulge the nature of any of his sources, but confirmed that.
Okay, so far all I've gotten out of this was anybody can go in front of Congress and say whatever bullshit they want, and Congress is supposed to believe it without any real evidence.
Was she being serious when she said that bit about the birds? Or was that just like...
She was being facetious.
It's facetious or sarcasm. There's conspiracy theories that people think, all birds are government drones and chemtrails are, leaching, airborne vaccinations.
But what's funny about this bird thing is, I remember in 1995, 96, this woman came to me and she said, these birds keep surveilling my house. And I was like, you're crazy. Well, guess what? We have birds today that surveil people's houses. We legitly have bird drones out there now, and all sorts of them at that. Pretty good. So maybe it was true back in the day.
We also have insects that we are able to essentially pilot by remote control. Live insects, by the way, not robots, but live insects we can allegedly pilot by remote that have cameras and microphones on them. So this fly can fly into a room, onto a wall, and record everything in the room and then fly away.
So, and that's if you don't get it with a fly swatter.
Unless you hit it with fly swatter.
So far we haven't heard Mr. Gold speak yet. We're gonna he's gonna get in a few minutes, but so far it's alleged.
First of all, that the Representative Berber, the second lady to ask a question, they showed a picture of her, and behind her was Mark the guy who's up for Attorney General, I think. The sex charges against him, Gates.
Oh, Gates. Yeah,
he was there. That's kind of strange that we would see that. But all three of these guys they're not saying anything. The information they're bringing to the table, none of it is new. And I'm pretty sure Congress has heard all of this crap before, like the last time, a couple of years ago.
Well, yeah, they have. Well, Greer got and screwed that one up with his bullshit.
Yeah, the one with Stephen Greer. Yeah, that was. And he had a lot more experts there. Here we got what, 3, and there's no.
Well, but the
no
problem,
new evidence,
even so, with Greer, you had the 3 pilots or the 4 pilots, and then you had the Koresh guy who was the other
David
other
Koresh.
witness.
Yeah, that was just a couple years ago.
And he was just so full of shit that you could smell it from where DC to where I live here on the coast.
Yeah.
There was things he said that were obviously full of shit. He's another Doty, is what he was. He's being put out there. He's been thrown out there to everybody, to Congress to look at and say, okay. First off, before we get into this anymore, let's talk a little bit about crash retrieval. So basically when I listen to Dr. Greer and these people, makes me think, well, ET has a worse flight record than the FAA does. Okay, really? Now, we know their craft's advanced because we know that the one that they had at Area 51, for sure, they couldn't even hadn't learned how to fly it yet.
Yeah.
So
they had it since 1947, and they or 1957. I don't remember. The one that they were given that was almost brand new. I mean, basically.
Yeah, the one the Germans had, the one we retrieved from the Germans was, I think it was given to the Germans in like 1911 or I think it was 1909 is when they got it, because 1911, 12, 13, 14, and 15, they were building all these UFO style things. Airplanes, boats, tanks. They had a tank shape. Yeah, people had a tank shape with like a UFO. It had guns on each side. 2 sets
all
of
the way
guns
around
on
it.
each
Yeah,
side.
360 guns.
And then they had one that was supposed to be a jet that was that was flying. Anyway, they did this for a while, so it looks like that ET, for whatever reason, it looks like the humans gave the Germans a gray scout ship. That's what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And then for some reason, of course, they knew that because it's an organic ship, they knew that, okay, it's highly unlikely they're going to be able to do this unless it was a reptilian, because reptilians do use it's not a perfect saucer, but it's like a saucer. It's now it could have been one of those, but regardless, the Germans got their hands on it and had it from 1909 to probably until we took it from them at the end of World War II. Yeah, so we took it from them, and then we tried to learn to fly it. So obviously somebody came. It looks like the Greys came. That's what made me think it was a Greys craft, because the Greys look like they came here and were trying to show us how to use the damn thing when we crashed it.
I was just about to say it probably has to be a Greys craft, because the way that the Greys craft work is that the pilot, not only are they the guidance system, they are part of the electrical system and the engine. It's hard to explain. They kind of bioorganically bond to the vehicle.
They become part of the craft,
and they control the craft. And
so it looks like
some of our psychics, and almost all of them have crashed.
Yeah, so it looks like that the Greys were trying to show us how to fly this craft.
Yes.
And we lost control of it, or somebody lost control of it. The craft went down. Well, the 4 beings inside that were still inside went down with the ship and crashed, and were found with the craft in Corona. The ship that was found in Roswell was either an escape. I think it was an escape pod, because it disintegrated on impact. It just came apart.
The one that was found in the Arroyo was actually a Delta wing, so it's maybe more of an escape pod, or perhaps a fighter.
Well, no, this is how you know what was what. You know, the one in Aurora was the craft because it came down intact. It was no.
That's the one that was retrieved by the mill. There's 3 actual crash sites, and the first one was fully.
But that's the one we crashed, or that's the one we crashed. But the Greys, while we were flying that, ejected themselves out. They're the ones that landed in Mac Brazel's Ranch. That's who they found there. They didn't find humans. They found Greys. But in Aurora, they found humans, and not human aliens, humans like us. They had just been kind of melted. They had been exposed to some kind of weird radiation that made them glow pink. And
which Aurora?
Aurora is Aurora, New Mexico, or Colorado, wherever the hell it was, New Mexico.
It's Roswell, New Mexico. It's right out. It's about 70 miles. Corona is the first crash site and I think it's like 60 miles northwest of the city of Roswell. Mac Brazel's Ranch is 70 miles northeast of the city, and then the Aurora, the Arroyo, where it hit the the humans hit is like 90 miles east of the city. So those are the 3 crash zones.
So
Aurora?
yeah, it's New Mexico, I believe.
Aurora, New Mexico, Corona, New Mexico, and I don't know if it's Aurora, but it's called an arroyo. It's a type of
Yeah, it is.
like
It is.
it's
And
a natural
Corona
ditch.
and
It's a natural
Corona.
ditch of rock where the final craft came to rest.
Yeah. So Corona, I don't know if it came down in Corona and then bounced, or if it just settled there. If it came down on the other one and bounced, but regardless,
Well, whatever
wherever
hit
it
the
settled,
Brazil Ranch is
I really
definitely a
think it
ricochet.
settled in. I really think it settled in Corona is where I think it actually ended up settling down. But only reason I even know about this story is I met a Cub Scout leader while I was in New Mexico. This is 25 years ago, and I think it was my very first time ever going to New Mexico. And he was telling me about something that had happened in Corona, New Mexico, where these scouts and this gentleman, the scout leader, and these scouts walked up on what looked to be 4 glowing pink bodies laying next to
it's mirrored.
laying next to this huge spacecraft, and they had seen it. Well, what was funny about it is the father and 2 of the Boy Scouts disappeared afterwards. The ones who had been the most vocal about it, they just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. But not before they actually made the report. So there's that, and then so that craft was intact when they found it was intact. They put it on a truck and haul. Oh, actually, I think they used not a Huey. What's the one with the hole in the center of it? Helicopter. Anyway, they used one of those heavy lift helicopters.
The banana a Chinook.
Yeah, and they carried it out of there, and they brought it back to the Roswell base. The one that came down at McBrazel's was an escape pod because, like I said, there was nothing left of it. It was just
It was
pieces
carried out
and
on
parts.
a flatbed with a tarpaulin over top of it.
Yeah, they just found little pieces of it. They
found lots of little pieces.
Yeah,
of it.
well, what's his name? The one who lived down at home said the biggest piece that his dad said they had found was about the size of a football helmet. He said now they had stacked some pieces together that looked like they may have fit together, kind of, sort of, and stuck it on the truck. He said, but they were out there literally for days picking up pieces. And the thing of it is the metal detector, the metal didn't register on a metal detector.
Yeah,
it's so they couldn't really use metal detectors to find it. So they had to walk all this area. They said they got in lines a half a mile long and just started walking, and just anything they seen, they were picking up.
They were the guys who picked up the debris. Some of them said they were shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
For as far as many guys as they had, 100 guys, 200 guys, whatever.
Because they needed to recover it, and there were some people say there were 3 gray bodies. Some say there was 4. Some say there was 3 dead, 1 alive, and then some say there was 5. When November talked to the nurse, not November, I'm sorry, when Dee had talked to the nurse, Dee had befriended this woman. Poor Stephen.
They were starting to date, actually. No, you're talking about the local guy who buries people.
She was the nurse at the army base.
Yeah, but the guy dating her was Glenn Dennis.
I think it was, but
the town coroner and morgue guy.
Not November. Dee had met her later in life, and they kind of had a bond. And she used to talk to him all the time. So when Stanton Friedman used to come on, she would school Stanton Friedman about what actually happened because she knew the nurse. And the nurse actually walked her through everything that she knew about. Now, she didn't know about everything. She knew there was 2 sites, and she knew there was X amount of bodies, and she knew there were other things, but she didn't know, what type of craft they were, where the craft actually came down. She didn't know any of that. But she also knew that there was 1 body or 1 being found alive. She did state that the ones found, which there were 4, I believe, found in Corona, were actually humans with heavy radiation contamination, is what she said. So, we know about those. And then, but when you stop and think about this wasn't even a crash. Technically, we crashed it. But the craft that we had wasn't a crash craft. It was a given craft to the Germans and given to us. It wasn't actually a crash retrieval. All we can say is
I don't
the
think it was necessarily given to us as much as we took it.
well,
from
we
Germany.
took it when we took the scientists. I'm pretty sure one of the scientists said, "Hey, you need to be sure that you get your hands on this so the Russians don't." I'm almost positive that's how that went.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about
And
that.
it was
either.
probably Werner von Braun that told him, "Say, look, you know what? We got one of these. You need to get your hands on it." Might
Doesn't
have been the
make him any
reason.
less of a criminal, but
might have been why they gave him charge of the space program, because he retrieved that for him.
oh well,
So-
that's what I'm saying. That's probably the stuff that we got from them is probably why they quashed those. I mean, he was a war criminal.
Yeah, he was a war
the
criminal.
things
He
he
should have
did
been
for the-
going.
for
He
the
should have been
John
down there
Rock-
elsewhere with everybody else getting tried. But several of their scientists came here and didn't
So
get in any
okay,
trouble.
real quick, this is from Donald Schmidt's book. This is I don't know how well this will come across. This is a picture of the Arroyo where the craft where the humans were found that were destroyed by radiation, and this is the craft.
That's
kind of a
what
delta wing.
right.
Okay. Not a saucer. More like one of our delta wing fighters.
Well,
like
but on the other pictures I've seen, that it was that shape, but that piece in the middle was all part of it. It was no defined piece.
yeah,
I
that's
actually
just
seen-
an artist rendering. There's other drawings and
Well,
diagrams.
I seen one black and white photo that I can't tell you how game. Well, I guess I could. I mean, he's pretty famous. He's dead now, so I guess it doesn't matter. That his father gave him, and it was one. It was. I wouldn't call it. That's what I said. It's not a traditional saucer. That's what made me think maybe it was a reptilian ship, but the Greys were flying. It was kind of weird, but it was winged out like that. It's how it was shaped. It was just kind of it was like a saucer with little dab ins and outs on it. Instead of going full circle, it would cut in a little bit and come back out, and cut in and come back out. Don't ask me. I didn't build the damn thing. Somebody built it. It just wasn't us. But regardless, this ship was responsible for both crashes. It was the ship that was crashed where the human bodies were found, and the craft was found intact, nothing damaged inside or outside. The only thing that seemed to be damaged was the humans that got out of it. And then the Greys, for some reason, I guess the Greys didn't know what was going to happen, which is unusual, and left in an escape pod. And I wonder what happened there. The escape pod went wacky, didn't work correctly. That's what makes me think it wasn't a Grey's craft, because I can't see a Grey crash in its own escape pod or its own shuttlecraft, because it might have been a shuttlecraft. I'm saying escape pod, but it could have been a shuttlecraft. Whatever it was, when it hit the ground, it said "Adios, amigos."
Yeah,
and it looked like it trailed along for a while. So
the debris field is, I believe, 3/4 of a mile wide and about a mile and 3/4 to almost 2 miles long. It's a lot of territory.
So it just hit the ground. That's what makes me think it was a shuttle, and came down and just started blowing apart as it was going along. Well, because any main craft that can travel in deep space shouldn't break up on impact. It shouldn't, because if it can take a micrometeor hit at plus light speed, it's not going to break up when it hits the surface of this planet. There's nothing that hard here.
Not unless their way to defeat those micrometeors and other, destructive forces are with electronic devices like shields or, energy barriers, that kind of thing.
But even
I would tend to think that they can still build things that can be destroyed. I mean, if they can build things that can't be destroyed, then why would they need to worry about flying through the asteroid belt? They wouldn't need guidance with their light speed. They could just go boom and not worry about crashing into a million asteroids.
Well, because that's not even how they travel. They pop out the dimension and pop back in somewhere else. So they don't even have to worry about colliding anything. They leave here, go out, come back, and come back in. So it's not even.
They still have linear travel, though. So when they do linear travel, they still have to avoid our rocks. Why are they avoiding rocks? Because they can be destroyed.
As far as I know, they don't. They fly right through them. I mean, we've seen Gray's craft go right through the side of mountains. Whatever they're using doesn't seem. It just kind of reminds me of Buckaroo Banzai shit.
Yeah,
it just seems like, but thinking about it, it doesn't really matter, because even when it's in orbit or when it's cruising through the solar system at, say, half light speed, something hits it, it's not going to break it up, and it's probably not even going to have a shield on at the time. It's going to probably just be cruising through the system. And since there's no rivets, it suggests that this is one piece molded, which means it's going to be have far more strength than anything we can conceive of. Anything that you can take right now and mold it as one piece is always more strength, has more strength. Then take a solid piece of plastic and mold it into one piece and see how hard it is to destroy that one little piece of plastic. Without using heat, you're not going to destroy it. You'd have to use a saw or something. You're just not going to be able to. You can beat on it all day long. So the point being is, I would imagine a race that's 500 million plus years old have built craft that were really, because you got to think the kind of weapons they use are going to be far more powerful than anything we can even conceive of. So I would imagine even without shielding, they could still take a hit. And besides, all the contactees say ships can fly through the planet if they wanted to. They could just fly right through the damn thing and split us in half.
Yeah, but again, I think that's some sort of electronic device.
Well, no, they're saying the ship itself with nothing. If the ship went out and it was just in solid mode is what they call it. Because when it's alive, it's not in solid mode. It like exists in more than one location at one time. But when it's in solid mode, they said, like the lady called it a brick. She said it would fall right through the planet. There's nothing could stop it. She said the sheer weight and mass of the ship itself, which is much heavier than it looks, would fall right through our planet. There's nothing we have that would stop. There's nothing. The material used to make it, there's nothing as hard as it on Earth. And think about this. We have materials we have built on this planet now that can withstand anything from the ancient world at all. Matter of fact, you could roll a tank back in ancient world. There's nothing they would have that would even phase it.
Yeah, no. Even
To us, that's
fire wouldn't
antiquated
tolerate
technology. So today, with weapons we have today, the F-35s and stuff like that, it would be badass, and there's nothing they could do to stop it. But when you're talking, think of us in 100 million years. What kind of technology will we possess? What kind of materials will we have gone through? How big will the periodic table be?
Will we be nice guys or complete,
And that's really going to come down to who's ruling the grand coup pot at the time.
Does great great grandson win, or does Abraham Lincoln's great great grandson win?
I know. What's that, Jeremy? Wait, go ahead, Leah. Jeremy, you can wait. Go ahead. What you got?
What's your take on gray aliens being human beings from the future coming back in time?
I've heard people say that many times.
That's sad, yeah.
Well, why would they come back? Every time they come back, they're a chance in screwing up their future.
Right. But the reason they're coming back is to fix some sort of thing in their future that their technology and intelligence can't fix.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
I
see, and my biggest problem with all of that is let's say that they are from the future. Why are they still here? Why haven't they left Earth? Why haven't they colonized somewhere else? So
what if they're coming back to their own past self in one of the timelines of that person's life to fix something for their own survival, like for their future self?
I don't think the Greys would allow that.
Yeah,
I don't think they believe in the individual. They're a hive community. I don't think they would go for that. Their whole thing is for the hive to survive. Whereas us, humans are individuals. Greys are not in the way we think of individuality anyway. They have individual personalities,
but
like they're not individual. Yeah, they're definitely different in the way they think about things than we are. They definitely view the world different. But anyway, we're going to play some more of this. What's that, Johnny? I don't rule out anything, man. I don't rule out anything. It could be multiple things.
About this last little grouping of statements they've said that I'd like to say. These guys, the guys previous and the previous guys, everybody who's done these things, they all say that this is of top priority. It's it's threat level, it's war threat level type of information, but yet nothing has ever been done about it. You would think that any sane government, if they had even just these three guys saying that there's intelligences from outside the planet that have been interacting with our planet for how many years, you would think that the government would want to do more action than what they're doing, and they're not.
Yeah. So it's anyway. We're gonna play this. We're gonna talk more about that. We got lots of time. Oh, we didn't get as much time as I thought we do. But hold on, let me play this right quick, and we're going to finish this out. And we got a couple things we want to talk about. Jay, don't forget that, what you were just talking about. Anyway, there's something I want to add to it. I want to go ahead and get this out of the way.
That they are either present or former U.S. government officials.
I think that what the American people need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
high
resolution. Number 4, Michael Gold keeps it light.
The NASA brand is synonymous with hope, optimism, and credibility. If you were to take a walk down the National Mall, you would immediately see the NASA logo on t-shirts, hats, and bumper stickers. Few federal agencies enjoy this kind of popularity. I've never seen anyone wearing an Office of Personnel Management t-shirt.
In stark contrast to Elizondo and Schellenberger's testimonies, ex-NASA official Michael Gold struck a light, even occasionally humorous tone in his. Gold emphasized the instrumental roles that science and academia carry out in helping to shape our understanding of the world, and included the formal study of UAPs under that umbrella.
NASA could, with relatively little cost and effort, host symposia on UAP, or even just participate in existing panels examining the topic. NASA personnel stepping forward and participating in such discussions would make a powerful statement to the scientific community that UAP should be taken seriously and researched accordingly.
For context, Gold has worked as NASA's former Associate Administrator of Space Policy and Partnerships and is currently the Chief Growth Officer at Redwire, an aerospace manufacturer. It also seems important to note that while employed at NASA, Gold was a member of its independent UAP study team. In his testimony, Gold was optimistic about the part his former employer could play in combating the stigmatization of UAP research.
For relatively little cost and effort, NASA could create an AI or ML algorithm that could search the agency's archives for anomalous phenomena. I suspect that such an effort would not only result in information that will help us to understand UAP, but could result in data that will assist in other areas of scientific inquiry, such as anomalous weather or meteorite activity.
Number 3, Timothy Galladay's disappearing email.
During this exercise, I received an email on Navy's secure network from the operations officer of U.S. Fleet Forces Command. The email is addressed to all the subordinate commanders, and the subject line read in all capital letters, "Urgent Safety of Flight Issue." The text of the email was brief but alarming, with words to the effect, "If any of you know what these are, tell me ASAP."
The former Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Oceans and Atmosphere under President Donald Trump is a well-known member of the UFO community and a major proponent of declassifying UAP research in the interest of public awareness. Galladay's testimony painted an alarming picture of not only what UAPs may be capable of, but the dangers inherent in allowing for overprotective, overreaching government secrecy on the matter.
The now declassified video showed an unidentified object exhibiting flight and structural characteristics unlike anything in our arsenal. The implication of the email was clear. The author was asking whether any of the recipients were aware of classified technology demonstrations that could explain these objects.
The retired Rear Admiral described his involvement with the Go Fast video, one of the most famous depictions of a UAP to date. Galladay testified that an email containing the video had been scrubbed from his account as well as the accounts of other officials to whom he'd spoken.
The very next day, that email disappeared from my account and those of the other recipients without explanation. Moreover, the commander of Fleet Forces Command and the operations officer never discussed the subject. Even during weekly meetings specifically designed to address issues affecting exercises like the one in which the Theodore Roosevelt Strike Group was participating.
Number 2, a commitment to destigmatizing UAP reporting.
Science requires data, which should be collected without bias or prejudice. Yet, whenever the topic of UAP arises, those who wish to explore the phenomena are often confronted with resistance and ridicule.
While the content of its testimonies varied significantly, one theme was a constant presence throughout: unidentified anomalous phenomena exposing the truth. And it could even be described as its goal. That theme? The fact that Americans should never fear the consequences of speaking out in service of what they feel is right.
Equally concerning, last year's UAP hearing also revealed that elements of the government are engaged in a disinformation campaign to include personal attacks designed to discredit UAP whistleblowers. Having never signed a non-disclosure agreement regarding UAPs, and now as a private citizen, I've become an advocate for greater UAP transparency from the government.
In this case, that would be the stigma associated with UAP whistleblowing. Gold, Schellenberger, Elizondo, and Gallaudet all decried the alleged culture of silence and fear that prevented further study of UAPs. In particular, Gold noted that, quote, the stigma prevents scientific inquiry, the best tool that we have to understand anomalies, from being fully applied, end quote.
Members of the NASA UAP independent study team, particularly those in academia, were mocked and even threatened for simply having the temerity to engage in the study of UAP.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications.
How much of that hearing?
Moskovitz versus Elizondo.
I'm a recovering lawyer, so I'm going to put my hat on for a second. You said you signed a document. Love that. Who gave that to you?
The U.S. government, sir.
Okay, you have a copy of it?
It is stored in a SCIF right now. I do not have possession of it. The U.S. government does.
What department of the U.S. government gave you this document?
I will say the Department of Defense. Unfortunately, I can't say in this forum much more than that.
Overall, members of the public who were hungry for drama or earth-shattering revelations may have left the hearing disappointed.
Yeah.
The general tone was cordial, and everyone involved spoke their mind without any great resistance from the congressional panel. However, this is with the notable exception of what threatened to be a heated exchange between Luis Elizondo and Florida House Representative Jared Moskowitz.
You specifically said the document said you can't talk about crash retrieval. Well, you know, you can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just making an observation.
The congressman jokingly referred to himself as a, quote, recovering lawyer before pressing Elizondo on the documents that would guarantee his silence. At one point, a comparison to the 1999 film Fight Club caused the chamber to burst into laughter. Refreshingly, the exchange never devolved into mudslinging or name-calling, an outcome that seems almost unfathomable in 2024.
You're not some conspiracy theorist. You actually have a legitimate background.
Well, sir, I'm certainly not a conspiracy theorist. I'm fact-based, just say facts.
So when you're in this room, I want to paint the picture of her. You're in this room, you're by yourself, you're in a SCIF, you're handed a document. How long is the document?
It's about a page front and back.
What do you think will come of unidentified anomalous phenomena exposing the truth?
Disclosure agreement.
Let us know in the comments below.
If there's no further business without objection, the subcommittee stands adjourned.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo and be sure to
All
subscribe.
right, Watch Mojo. Let's give credit to Watch Mojo. Watch Mojo. I'm not sure if I was real happy with that or not, but hey, you know, we're all happy with something out there. What is that?
How much of that hearing was a diversion?
Probably the
I don't
whole
know.
thing.
I don't
Well,
know why,
there's just
but
nothing
it seemed
there.
to me-
Okay.
it seemed like a scripted wrestling match almost, but without the wrestling.
Well, it's kind of what it is. So what's going on is let's go back to the other one first, and then we'll come back to this. So we're going to go back to the first one, which was a year ago, I think. Was it a year?
A year or two, yeah. I mean, the David Garush one, yeah.
Yeah, I know it hasn't been that long. So anyway, we had some very good pilot witnesses there. We had some Navy pilots, which we know are better than the Air Force pilots, but we still love Air Force pilots.
Captains and
too.
colonels all.
Yes, and we had some big ranks there, and they gave testimony to things that they saw and they had pictures of that they said could not be from our
Pictures, they
our
had video,
government.
they had radar, they had infrared, they had sonar. Especially when they went underwater. If we had a sub nearby, we have so much signal telemetry on these things.
So to give me even more
civilian telemetry, that there's enough to get a conviction somewhere on this planet. I mean, it's just really frustrating.
So to give them even more credibility, two of them were Top Guns. That's what they did. They were Top Gun pilots. One actually was teaching Top Guns. Was what he was doing. So these are serious pilots with serious reputations at stake, which could be losing pensions over stuff like this.
Dudes that could thwack Tom Cruise with their middle finger and not even feel a thing.
Yeah, I mean these are just they're serious pilots,
serious individuals,
and they stand out amongst their peers. So these are really good witnesses, and they're telling you it's not anything made on this planet. It's not man made. It's nothing. They don't believe that the Russians or the Chinese have that, because they did, we'd already be conquered.
It's the
So
same thing as in World War II. They're saying this, sometimes they think it's Russian technology, and then the Russians are thinking sometimes it's our technology. It's not anyone's technology.
so that's those witnesses that gave testimony. Now there's the Koresh guy. He was a spy.
David Koresh.
Yeah, David Koresh. That's right. I always call him Koresh, but Jay's correcting me. He's Koresh. And so he was a spy. He had no firsthand information. He didn't even have secondhand information.
Yet another Giorgio Tsoukalos. He's a third hand, second hand, fourth hand, 10th hand witness.
Yeah, he's not. That's the information that he gave, and then he tried to push Dr. Stephen.
They're read in, so he's read documents on this stuff. That's not being an eyewitness.
So then he tried to push Dr. Greer's their dimensional alien stuff, and that every other ship that comes through the dimension crashes and we capture. His words, we had 75.
I know he said it. It's just stupid.
75 of these craft, he said, that we got just from this one group. Just not even all the rest of the aliens visiting. That's just this one group, along with, I guess, 300, 400 aliens. So let me ask you this. If someone took 75 of our craft and 400 of our citizens, what do you think the next step would be? Yeah,
I think
we'd be kicking some serious ass.
Not building any more planes for us.
Yeah, I know. And you're not coming through that Stargate anymore because obviously you don't know how to fly the damn things. I have a hard time with testimony like that. It just makes me think he was there to make it into a joke, is what he was there for. And they were hoping, just like they're hoping here, that the community will pick this crap up and run with it. And they did. They tried to run with it last time. And I was like, guys, there's nothing to run with here. None of this testimony changes anything. All these pilots did was, I said, these 3 pilots are just like hundreds of other pilots that have given testimony. We know they're real. We know they're not from Earth. We need to know why they're here, what they're doing, and what does the government actually know? Well, apparently Congress and the Senate don't know shit.
Yeah.
So then what government knows something?
Some administrations know and some administrations do not know.
So know this, people. The Pentagon is not a government. It is a military. When people say, well, the Pentagon knows that's a government. No. The government is for the people, by the people, elected from the people.
The
Pentagon is appointed.
The Department of Justice, the Senate and the House and the President. Those are your 3 places right there: executive, legislative, and administrative.
So the Pentagon has nothing to do with the government. It's simply the military. That's what it does.
It does house by the part of that government, though.
It's controlled by. It's supposed to be controlled by.
Funded by that government.
It is funded by that government, but whether it's controlled or not, well, obviously, looking at this last
to a degree.
Yeah, looking at this last thing, I'm not so much sure they were controlled by, but they have been in the past. But the point being is with more than $1 trillion in assets that they don't have no idea where it went off to, the Pentagon has failed miserably.
How much did they lose a couple years ago? Was it 23 trillion?
No, not much.
It was $23 trillion. They have no idea what happened to it.
They get roughly about anywhere from 700 billion and 900 billion a year is what the Pentagon gets. And
how much did they lose? How much did they lose?
This last audit was $1.5 trillion. That's a lot of money.
I thought it was like 8 trillion something.
Well, I've heard a lot of different numbers, but the only paper I've seen said 1.5 trillion. But I'm not settling on any number until.
Where did it go? I mean, how can you lose $1.5 trillion?
So I know Trump will put out the official one, and I think the official one's going to be somewhere between 3.5 and 8. I could be wrong, but that's where I think it's going to fall out, somewhere between 3.5 trillion and 8 trillion. Man, that's a third of our debt, or almost a third of our debt. So where is all this money, and how many years are we talking about? How long did it take them? Because you got to remember, they're not even getting $1 trillion a year. So just to lose $1 trillion would have probably took them 5 or 6 years. If you're talking 8, then they've been losing money, substantial amount of money for the last 20 years or more. And I don't think they're losing it. I think they know exactly where it's going. But so for projects like, okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so I know y'all didn't know this, but Area 51 is not officially funded by anybody.
It is owned and operated by guess who?
Bill Gates.
The Central Intelligence Agency.
See, I didn't see. I
Oh.
made the signals for y'all. See,
Alphabet
hey.
soup. They run
So
it, and they rent it out to Lockheed Skunk Works, who makes their planes for them, their spy planes and their spy cameras and their equipment.
Christopher, you're probably right. In the very, very early days, the NSA had some control in it because they're the National Security Agency, and this is on U.S. soil. And the National Security Agency is supposed to deal with anything inside the USA. And the Central Intelligence Agency is technically supposed to deal with outside. Well, that shit went away a long time ago.
Yeah.
Both organizations are sticking their hands inside and outside these days. So I think that I couldn't tell you exact date when they took over, but I would imagine it was in the 70s, 60s, 70s, maybe the 80s. But they took over, and they've been running it, and they've been funding it. And they get a budget, and they're not funding it from their budget because they need their budget for everything else they're
Why
doing.
do you think there's such a huge problem of illegal drugs in this country?
Yeah, so
One of
who's
their
funding?
funding systems. They
And
used it in
remember,
Vietnam. They're still
we
using
have-
it today.
Could it have anything to do with all the missing people, like human trafficking?
No,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think our
part of it.
government
Yeah,
does
I wouldn't
that.
be surprised at that. Yeah, I would not
No,
be surprised
our
if they
government's
do that.
not doing that because our government can't afford to do that because if they get caught,
The
it's
CIA
too big.
can.
Yeah, but if even the CIA like to lost itself with the guns and the Contra affair. If it wouldn't have been for Ollie, President Reagan was going to jail and the CIA was getting disbanded. So if Mr. North wouldn't have threw himself on his sword, they were going away. So they're a little less likely to get into shit like they used to, but they still there's other ways for them to make money. Trading of arms. Think of it like this. We say that Joe Biden accidentally left all them billions over in Afghanistan and all those weapons and all. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe that was for something else. Maybe that was a payment. Maybe that was a payment for something else. It's what was that, Frank? Oh no, that's Jay. That's all. You thought the booger monster was coming to get you?
No, I burped a little.
It's you're an idiot, dude. Not you, Jay, the guy I'm talking to. It's wait, what? Oh, we might play this next clip. We might. We'll see. We got a little time, but I don't know. It's so anyway, let's go back. We got to finish what we were talking about in the first one. So now we got David out there saying all this outrageous shit. So you had these at least these pilots brought some credibility to this. I mean, they were showing it, and I mean, these are commanders, colonel, captains. I mean, these are serious ranks, and they're up there telling you this isn't us.
At least evidence. I mean, their video and their telemetry from their fighters is, I mean, it's tantamount to like hardcore evidence, but it doesn't amount to anything. The government, you would think, seeing these kinds of things, a plane that or some odd shape that they don't even know what the hell it is, can outmaneuver our fighters. That's hugely important. And yet our government seems to do nothing about it. So they must somewhere. There's a department that knows almost everything.
Well,
otherwise,
maybe.
they'd send those fighters after them.
No, we scrambled fighters. We still even today we still scramble fighters. Matter of fact, the ones that flew over DC, we scrambled fighters. So that doesn't matter. It's a waste of our time. They never even get close, or they get well. Matter of fact, two of them pilots were talking about that they were being teased. The thing would run up on the side of it, sit there and wag itself. And, like how jet pilots wave at each other when they wag.
Yeah.
He said it would wag at him and sit there and it'd disappear. He said, I'd even once or twice, I even got a lock on. And then poof, it was gone. The next thing I know, it's sitting over the top of me. He's like, what the hell? There's not, he's matter of fact, he said, I had the distinct feeling if I'd have shot the missile at him, they'd have just let it back to my plane.
Yeah, probably so.
He said, I didn't even want to chance it. And he said, I knew I wasn't going to hit him because they accelerated at such a fast rate that there's no missile we got going to catch him. Not even a hypersonic missile is going to catch him. So
we don't have anything that's FTL. That's faster than light.
Right. So they're talking about these things, and they're letting you understand that, hey, look, this is real. This is something that's going on. And then all of a sudden you get the David guy up there who just spews pretty much mostly Dr. Greer's bullshit
about consciousness and like
no, he's just talking about
P5.
crash retrievals and other dimensions. All aliens come from other dimensions, and they're stupid and they're not advanced.
None of it's been proven. All of it's conjecture. But Stephen Greer is messing it up for everybody because he takes rumors as facts. Same as like Tsoukalos and some of those other people. They grab something.
But that's the ufology field. And this is
it's not all evidence of aliens.
But this is why I wanted to start here. So there's people like Ted Phillips and Dennis Faltese who have done real UFO research. I mean, serious. Larry Hatch. I mean, these people have gotten serious research. I mean, Larry Hatch had the best map until 2010 of anybody ever. And he had stackable maps from 1944 up. So I mean, these guys did research on a level that no one can even compare to, except the exception of maybe Jim Mars. But yet none of these guys are going in front of Congress. So we bring up this guy we just talked about Goresh, who was just a spy, and not even a good spy from what I've been told.
He was a desk spy. He was an
So
analyst.
and everything he said was third-hand information. It wasn't even second-hand. It was third-hand information.
Yeah.
He was told by a guy who was told, or he's seen a letter that
My
someone had
sister's
brought to him.
cousin's aunt told my brother this happened. So
Well,
it
the
must be
janitor
true.
seen the alien getting out the spaceship while he was talking to whoever who told me about it. It's useless. It can't be. It's not useful in a court of law. It's not useful in anything, and it just makes the Congress sit there and wonder, okay, did we just waste our time? So they look at the pilots and say, no, we didn't. They look at this guy and said, yes, we did. So now we fast forward to today. So there is a plethora of people to choose from in the field. I just mentioned 3 good ones and 1 deceased one who could do outstanding research, who have done outstanding research in the field. And Stanton Friedman's gone, guys. He passed.
Stanton Friedman's been going a while, yeah.
You mean Maccabee? Yeah, he's got a lot of good things. And
he started out as Bruce Maccabee started out as a skeptic.
Yes, he did. So did
And
Darrell
he-
Sims.
As
Until
he started
found out was a
analyzing
contact
some of
agent.
these videos and photos and films, he flipped and became not a skeptic.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's not just in the U.S. people. There are excellent researchers all around the planet, but that's not what we went for. We went for Dr. Stephen Greer, who charges $5,000 lecture and
Whistleblowers who
$7,000
were
a take
read
in.
in, and that means that they read documents. The same can be said of Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar he got to witness a UFO craft flying.
And Bob is another one of those Doty guys. So
Yeah.
What do you mean, Jamie? So let me explain when I say Doty. Doty is fake and real. So the reason they use Doty is because he could use some real information, but yet fill it full of fraudulent information. He confessed to this. You don't have to take my word for this, people. Was it Richard Doty? Is that what his name was? I can't remember his first name.
Yes, Richard Doty.
So look him up for yourself. I mean, he confessed to being a plant. So and he had some good information, but then a lot of it turned out to be, garbage. Well, that happens. You put people in the field that get them wrapped up and take away the credibility later on. That's exactly what happened.
Our intelligence community's game plan is they think that if they take a parcel of truth and a parcel of fiction and marry it together and have someone, Richard Doty, Bob Lazar, Stanton Friedman worked for the government, any of those guys, you have that's what they call misinformation. It's not disinformation. It's fact and fiction together. You have to sort out the real from the fake.
So
and a lot of it's almost impossible to tell which is which. But according to the 2 big ones, Lear and the guy from Skunk Works, they both said something to the effect that if you can imagine it, we can already do it. That's pretty powerful right there.
Interdimensional travel.
That's like they said. The one is Bob Lear's grandson, John Lear. He said something to the effect of, if you've seen it in a Star Wars or Star Trek movie or TV show, we can already do it. That's pretty powerful right there in itself.
And you never notice that Star Wars and Star Trek and them rarely show anything interdimensional.
They don't.
Except now
space and light speed, and that's it.
The only one that really does interdimensional is what is it? I just watched
Doctor Who,
Rick and Morty.
But they do it very rarely, and they say Doctor Who tells you you're not supposed.
1999 did it.
But you only get like
at
one.
Some point the moon goes through a vortex.
Rick and Morty has interdimensional television.
Who does?
Rick and Morty.
No, I don't watch it. The animation's too horrible for me.
It's they got but even with that, even with like what you were saying about Doctor Who, they only do like one, and even in Doctor Who they said no, it's not supposed to be able to do this. And then of course there's the whatchamacallit universe, the MC universe, of course, they're all into it right now. They're all in on dimensional on the what do they call it? Something verse. Anyway, I just watched
Multiverse?
Wolverine. I just watched Wolverine and what's his face the
Deadpool?
other night. Yeah,
That
the
was
other
pretty
night.
good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's got it's first off, I can't even believe Disney has anything to do with this thing.
Disney went full dark.
Oh, Disney! I can't even
And
believe
so
you did anything with this.
they let Ryan Reynolds have full, whatever he wanted to do on this movie.
And
And
of
you
course,
see it, if you watch it, he gets back at them, and you'll know what I mean if you watch the movie.
oh yeah,
It's
he
hilarious.
says several times he says stuff, but what do you mean rated on a 1 to 10? I'd give it like a 6.5.
Yeah, it's up
Well,
there.
because it's fun. It's fun to watch because it's kind of a little on the retarded side. But as far as like an Avengers movie goes, no, it's nowhere like that.
It's stupid, almost borderline X-rated humor without the X-rated pornography. I mean,
Yeah,
the
there's some
humor is
things
pretty graphic.
Yeah, so if you're not somebody who can take that kind of chat, I wouldn't watch it. I mean,
Yeah,
I thought it was funny, but
don't let your 13-year-olds watch it, please.
yes, definitely don't let your 13-year-old watch it. Leah, don't let Leah watch it either. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
horrible.
Lee is even too young, and she just had a 29th birthday.
That's right. It's
What was it? The 10th anniversary of your 29th, wasn't it?
that's right. That's how that works.
go.
That's how that works. What is it, Jeru? Is that how you say your name, Jeru? How you doing, Jeru? Where are you from, Jeru? In Brazil. We were just talking about Brazil earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You might like Rick and Morty, Jay.
Oh, well, yeah. People have said the same thing about South Park. If I can turn the TV off and just listen to South Park, it's hilarious stuff. But the animation is so horrible, I just can't force myself to watch it.
It's actually, your boy up there was talking about the crows dropping money on him and stuff. One day we're gonna have to talk about that because that happens for reasons. But they come sit with sick people and they'll sit next to their beds and stuff. No, they're not evil.
Very true.
Crows are my spirit animal.
Crows do things for reasons, and they bring money. A lot of times they bring money because a stranger was kind to them or nice to them or gave them feed or threw them something, or for some reason they just locked in with them. Yeah, and they'll do it a lot sometimes. Yeah, they got
Crows
one lady
have followed
that
me around.
yeah, they got one lady that they bring her money on a regular basis. No change, just 5s and 10s, stuff like that. Steal it out. They got video of this thing stealing money out of purses and bringing it to this lady. It's hilariously funny, but the crows are funny. Crows they're smart animals, so they do what they want to do, and they're very sensitive to different things. Marco, so we'll get back to what we were talking about. So only way I can say this is nothing that Dr. Greer said in 2000 has come to pass. His 56 types of aliens has been 20 years, no proof of that. Pretty much everything he said turned out to be garbage. Well, let me retract it. I shouldn't say what he said, what the witnesses said, all the witnesses he had. That was a great thing. I was there. It was great. And I know a lot of people were there, and we were all gung-ho about it. But after you were done and through with listening, you were like, it sounds like the lunatic asylum. So we talk about this, but people want to act like, when they say stuff, oh, aliens must be crazy, or aliens must be this, or aliens must be that. No. They're probably quite a bit more sane than we are, probably more logical than we are, and probably don't do things the way we do them. And we forget that sometimes, and we want to put them into our light, the way we look at the universe. But they don't look at the universe. Like we were talking about earlier about the Greys. There are certain things the Greys aren't going to do to themselves because they are a hive mentality. And there's a hierarchy hive mentality. So they're not going to do this kind of thing. It's not going to do anything that's going to hurt the hive. It's not about the individual with them. With the reptilians, though, since they still have alphas and alpha males and females, and they have
they have a caste system as well.
Yeah, they have a caste
There is
system.
an actual hierarchy.
So, and the alpha males and alpha females can breed and sleep and do anything they want with anybody. They're not. See, that's what's weird. Before anybody goes getting crazy about this.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the royal bloodline also have wings and the capability of flying? Even though
Someone
they're
I don't know 100% if it's royalty, but I do know they do some have wings and fly. I do know that the queens are upwards of 9 foot tall, and their consorts
9 foot tall lizard lady.
Yeah.
I
Oh
would
no,
shit
no,
my
sorry,
pants
no,
hard.
sorry, no. I apologize. Wrong one. The Gray's Queen's 9 foot tall, and her consort's a 7. I apologize, guys. When it comes to the reptilian, so they have
some of the reptilians can get 9 foot tall as well. Even
well
13
some of the
14.
some of the reptilians are it's weird. Well, first off, there's got to be at least 15 or 20 caste systems. So no, they're all the same family. They all come from the same homeworld, but they spread out so much across the cosmos now. They're everywhere, and they
here's
have
a weird one
countless.
too. They have different colors of skin. Some are green.
They do.
Reptilians. Some are
Grays?
brown. Some are red.
Yeah, some are green, some are red, some are yellow, some are brown, and
It's like
some
we have
of them.
different colored lizards here. Look at the crocodile versus an alligator. They're very
So-
similar. Their noses
so-
are different, but their colors are different too.
Yeah, so some of the
Crocodiles are bright green,
when
whereas
you
alligators are brown or dark green.
when you touch a reptilian, he's not cold to the touch, and he's got these like round. They look like scales, but they're not. They're just bumps in the skin, and it feels like suede, is what people says. That's what it feels like. It's warm and feels like suede, which first off tells us they're not cold blooded. They're warm blooded or something
They
in
evolved to
between.
get at least some sort of mammalian features in their bloodline.
And then
Well,
those little circles we're talking about, like on their
to a
chest and
human.
stomach, can be different colors for different groups. It's really strange, and they're very advanced society. They have one religion, one ruler, but they have one rule over all of them. But they all have their own caste system, but they all answer to whoever it is.
Kind of like the I would say the Galactic Empire of Star Wars. They have people, certain guys control a certain area, and then they have smaller guys within that area that control smaller areas, just like we would have like states versus cities and towns and villages.
Yeah, I would imagine an alpha male from whatever caste he's from is probably in charge of millions, if not billions, of reptilians. So we know the Draco system. There's supposed to be 3 planets full of reptilians there. Oh no, there's water breathing for sure. Oh, at least 2 different types of water breathers, from what I understand. Might even be more than that.
There's it's not amphibian where they can breathe air and water. There is several aquarium, just say water breathing only species out there.
Yeah. So I mean, when you look at the reptilians, you look at them different. So the reptilians, if you want, so let's say they seen Leah. Okay, she's one of their contactees. Well, that reptilian male or female, the alpha, but only the alpha, can take her anytime he wants for any reason. We go shopping, we go to dinner, we go have a drink, whatever he wants. He's the alpha, and that's how it is. But the hardest thing to teach contactees about reptilians is you have to be forceful if they're doing something that you consider that's wrong to you. And when I mean forceful, you can't hit them. You're wasting your time. I mean, this is a 550-pound male. He's probably 8 foot tall. Hitting him is an absolute and utter waste. He's not even going to feel
you
it.
up and throw you across the room
But
with ease.
If
Why
you
would they waste their time with human activities?
Because
like
we're
going to the
blood
movies or dinner.
brothers.
And that's not. I was using that as a polite example for something else. But what you can do is, if you can forcefully send them, because they're very telepathic, just like the rest of the species, they prefer to use their telepathy than to talk, even though they do have a spoken language. If you can forcefully send that across to them, and I mean forcefully, like stop, but you can't have fear in the force. If you have fear in the force, it's going to continue what it was doing. If you don't have fear, then it has respect for you and it stops. And it won't do it again unless it has permission. But we didn't even know about a lot of this stuff until the late 90s, when a lot of women and men started coming forward about things that were happening to them, which when I first heard it, I said, y'all are so full of you know what. And then I said, oh, maybe it's just wishful thinking for an alien reptilian or something. But later on, with hypnosis and a few other things we did, we found that no, it actually happened. And the alphas, whether they're male or female, it doesn't matter, just an alpha. Also, too, from time to time, what they'll do is they'll take an advanced contactee, usually a keeper, an advanced contactee, and throw them in a room with reptilian children. Well, reptilian children are like any children, they're rambunctious. And they'll be jumping around, scratching you, just doing stupid shit. They expect you, through telepathy, to bring them down and bring them under control. And most humans, male or female, can do it. They just have to have that, especially if they're over the age of 30, where they've got some forcefulness to themselves. They can do it. And
You know how
that
you
brings more respect. Okay.
You know how you described the Greys as the queen being like 8 feet tall? Or was that the reptilians you were describing?
I was describing the Greys. She's about 9 foot tall. The two
So
consorts, she has 2 male consorts that are 7 foot tall.
Didn't you also mention that the older they get, the darker gray they get?
Well, if they're blue to start off with, they will get darker. See, the problem with the Greys is that none of them are gray. You got blue, you got brown, and you got white. Technically, what you've got is clear, clear, and
There
clear.
is not grays, but there's also a red species out there, by the way.
Well, so what happens with them is they all eat this blue plasma. It's their main food source now. I don't think it was in the beginning, but it is now. And it's grown on the ships, and the ships can use it as fuel as well. So this can be pumped through the Gray, like Jay was talking about earlier, how the Greys meld themselves with the ship. Well, that blue plasma is now not just pumping through the Greys, not just pumping through ships, pumping through all of them, and it connects a link both telepathically and physically to the craft. So every thought is instantaneous.
Yeah, and it sounds
whatever
like
you think of, whatever you do,
food and energy source, it sounds like a control system.
Well, it might be. It might actually be a control system, so we can't rule that out.
But
But they also use it. They also use it.
Keep using it.
Yeah, but they also use it to help with the humans. To help humans recover from certain things that have happened to them during contact. So it's actually used for a lot. And like I said, I don't think it's their only food source, but I think for some reason they prefer to use this because the ships can
Maybe
reproduce
it's their only food
itself.
source away from their home planets.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's self-producing. So it's so that's why I think they use it for fuel
Ooh.
for the ships, and they use it for the food. For
What
the
if
Greys.
it's chlorel based, like the mana machine that they talk about? You know, you ever heard of that?
I don't know. So I'd say there's some things we just haven't found out yet, but it's interesting stuff. The more you learn about them, the more you have to stop and stand back. But anyway, so and then you've got the human aliens who treat us differently as well. They will, if they like a contactee, they will bring them with them as like, I don't want to call them a pet. It'd be like a trinket, like a show off, a toy, or not a toy, but something precious, but not equal.
A collector's item?
Yeah, maybe so. So because most of the humans they don't like. They think that we're trash cousins at best, even though they do acknowledge there is a relationship between us. And they do a lot of times use the term trash cousin for the way it translates into human language anyway, is into trash cousin. They do take some of us. For some reason, they just take a liking. Now, see, the Greys are different. The Greys, the control Greys, is the 3 foot and the 6 foot Greys, which are control Greys that do most of the work. They develop relationships, not just with you, but with your mom, your grandmom, your great grandmom, going back 300, 500, 3,000 years. They know you. And if reincarnation is real, they have known you, Leah, probably 50 times.
So is that because they live so long?
Yeah, it's because they live so long.
Yeah.
So somewhere outside of, like, is the Earth eternal?
No, Earth is going to 4.5 billion years. The Earth is gone.
The inner solar system. Then it will reform into, I think, a brown dwarf, and then
a red. It's going to turn into a red giant, and it's going to envelop Mercury, Venus, and Earth will be gone.
So
I don't know if it's going to quite make it to Mars, but all the outer moons will become alive.
Yeah.
How is the lifespan of the Earth able to withstand not only all of history as we know it, but the timelines of every person's individual multiple incarnations? And you know what I mean?
Well, there isn't just one Earth, for one thing.
So if there's multiple dimensions, there's multiple Earths. But regardless, even if you're coming back, it doesn't really matter because you're not here all at one time. You're coming and going. And we're not even 100% sure that this Gaia is our Gaia yet. We always want to say Earth is Mother Earth, but we're not 100% sure that Mother Earth is Mother. We're not 100% sure this is where the human race came from.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. Every mammal on the planet is 90% or better concealed with fur. The sun doesn't bother them. They don't get sunburned. Most animals don't catch colds or get sick. Most of them don't have back problems because guess what? They're still walking on all fours like we're supposed to be. Yet we have no fur. We get sunburned and cancer from our sun. our eyes get burned by the ocean water, whereas a gorilla's eyes do not.
But
Figure
yet,
that one out.
if we lived on Mars, none of that stuff would phase us. None of it. We wouldn't get
Bingo.
cancer from the sun. It wouldn't hurt our eyes.
We wouldn't be
we
cold.
would be on the planet that our biological clock is set to 24 and a quarter hours days, which is what Mars is. We'd be on a planet where the optimal body temperature back in the day was 63 degrees Fahrenheit, which was perfect for humans, or 73 degrees, whatever it was. Earth humans technically are not suited for Earth. We've more like were put here and then started evolving here.
We're not suited for bipedal locomotion. Ask any bone doctor, any back doctor. Our skeleton is primarily still built by genetics to walk on all fours.
I know my back hurts.
What got me is somebody said, well, humans have the straightest spinal cord in the planet, but that's not true. Dolphins do. And dolphins have five fingers inside their flippers and 5 toes inside their other flippers. So at one time, they were an upright walking animal, just like us. Or better than us, probably. That's probably
we have evolved from dolphins.
No, we're actually. I hate to say this. Okay, let me say this politely. So you positive people are related to the chimpanzee and the lemur monkey.
You better quiet those lips.
But you negative people are not. Just so you know, some of you got monkey genes and some of you don't. But it is true that I think a chimpanzee is about 96 or 97% of same genes as humans. But in all fairness, a banana.
99. It's a lot higher than that. And they're only off by like one or
well, no, it depends who you ask, because I've seen it as low as 91 and as high as 99. But I've also seen bananas at 93 and 94.
But same with cow. They say the cow is like 96% close to humans.
So I mean, what does that actually mean?
You know,
all it means is that 1 to 3% that we're talking about means a whole hell of a lot in the grand scheme of things. And then there's things like, other animals on the planet that are intelligent, like dolphins and whales and elephants and shit. And
some say dogs are intelligent. Some say cats are intelligent.
Well, you know what's funny?
Birds.
They say dogs are getting more intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
They're becoming more intelligent. One, because they're living longer lifespans, but two, they're starting to learn how to mimic certain words humans use, which is just from being domesticated.
Yeah.
Have you seen the dog that speaks Italian, the husky?
No, freaking huskies.
Hey, I said, why aren't you sitting down? And my dog sat down and he went, I don't know. Like, it sounded like Scooby saying, I don't know. I'm like, okay, thanks for sitting anyway.
I said, I'm sitting down now.
Yeah.
Key moments in Congress yet. What is this one? How long is this one? Okay, hold on. Let's see what this guy's got to say. No, Sarah, we're going to hang out for a little bit longer because we started late tonight. Yes. Well,
of data.
What do you mean? No, I own the place. No.
Yeah.
Is Michelle going to get all her?
If she does, she'll call and bitch at me. Not y'all. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's she'll be like, Joe.
It's not our fault.
You guys like French fries?
Joe,
French fries. Yeah.
What's a French fry?
Do you like?
Hey, Mary Lou.
Checkers where you're at?
We used to. I don't know if we still do it now. There used to be one in New Orleans at Checkers. I don't know. It turned into a Rally's though.
Oh, we have Checkers nearby somewhere in Hagerstown.
I like their fries.
I had to quit eating their hamburgers.
Oh, well, we got.
They're 50%
We got
soybean.
the stuff in Ocean City, Maryland, and along the beach, Leah. It's called Boardwalk Fries. They intentionally burn the fries on purpose, but they'll cook you a whole potato. Like a small is like one potato turned into French fries. They leave the skin on it. A medium is like potato and a half, and then a large is like 2 or 3 potatoes that they make into French fries for you. But they intentionally burn them, so they come out like really like dark brown. But they are so delicious.
I have to ask for mine, like burn my fries because they always come out soggy. But if I say burn them, they come out extra crispy.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just tell them extra crispy? That's what I do to go to King.
Because it's never extra crispy. It's just
then you send them back.
Regular.
I mean, tell them no. And I've done that before. I said, just don't look like it. Because I tell them I want my chicken and my fries extra crispy. But they got a place down here called Spudley's, man. Look, if you like anything potato, fries or anything potato, these people, oh my God.
Well, when
$6, you'll gain 5 pounds.
Wendy's be surprised if you get them and you think they're soggy. You go back up and you say, "I think these are soggy," and they will make you a set right there. They'll make you wait, and they'll cook a brand new basket. That's their pledge.
Yeah, and I need to do that because sometimes they are soggy.
Sometimes
Anyway,
they-
let me
yeah,
play. Let
sometimes
me play this. Let me. Mary
Let's see
Lou
what
will
he's
have to
gotta
talk
say.
about that. What was that? We'll have. Let me put that as they said. J and M can read that. And let me go cue this up right quick. We'll be right back, please.
Whole archives of data, much of which I believe will likely have information that will help inform UAP. We need only look. And again, in an era with AI and ML, we can relatively quickly and easily go through it. So I think it's something that we should encourage NASA to do.
This is a presentation from the UATP task force. This is completely absurd. It's nuts, this level of censorship, of redaction on a document. It shows the redaction of how many reports they've collected, for how many years. 2 of the 3 potential explanations are blacked out. The Pentagon, the intelligence community is treating us like children. It's time for us to know the truth about this. I think that we can handle it.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft? Yes or no?
Yes.
In your book, you mentioned government employees who've been injured by UAPs placed on leave and receiving government compensation for their injuries. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How can the government deny we have recovered craft if they're paying people because they've been injured by recovered craft?
Girl, you just
Ma'am,
did
that's a
not
great
ask that
question. That's
question.
why I think we're here again.
I really believe that we should use this hearing as a catalyst to improve and bolster our air defense capabilities and our maritime domain awareness capabilities, because obviously there are holes in it, whether it be UAP of non-HI direction or NHI direction, or like as you say, sir, China or any other adversary.
Well, it ain't China. I can tell you all that now.
So
Peace, and I hope he lives up.
These hearings are all over the internet. I mean, they're all over Reddit. They're all over literally the front page of whatever search engine I've come across.
Yeah.
There's still people out there who swear up and down it's a hoax. It's aliens aren't real. There's no such thing as extraterrestrial life or life on other parts of the universe.
There's
There's
prove
people
they
out
were
there
real.
who have not seen Bigfoot, who say he doesn't exist, or that haven't seen Bigfoot and say that he's not an Earth being. He's some
Look,
extra
there
dimensional thing that
was
flips in and out
a
of
big
existence. There's a lot of people that say a lot of things, and most of them are wrong. But the UAP thing is real. I've seen them. I've
So-
seen them.
Is that just the case of if they don't is that just ultimate denial, or is that a case of if they just don't know, they're not meant to?
They can't. No, those people that are denying it in that fashion are doing it because they cannot handle reality. They cannot handle the fact, mathematically speaking, right now, it is impossible that we're the only living planet in this universe. It's mathematically impossible. And those people that realize that, they defend themselves by regressing into caveman-like mentalities.
Or pointing fingers saying, no, you're crazy. No,
Yeah,
that's insane to think about. You're not okay. Like there's don't say that to the wrong people or you'll end up, you know what I mean?
I have an alien right here. Look at that man. He's got a little gray.
There we go.
Whoa,
And she-
alien,
wow,
go
wow,
kiss
yeah.
him.
Is that?
I bet that dog's breath stank.
No, my dogs don't have stinky.
Is that one from the dog star there?
Yeah, that is Bob's girlfriend.
Listen to it. It's like,
She's just a bit. They can hear you. Because Daddy's scratching her back. That's why she's snorkeling. She's like, oh yeah, please scratch me some more. No, Jimmy, she's
it's smiling. Oh, she's licking her lips. She's like smiling.
She is.
Take
She
a
is
look
rotten.
at this fuzzball, though.
How old is she?
This one's 4.
Got
How old's
4
the cat?
months, this one.
That's a pretty
Cat's a
cat.
baby.
He's a kitten.
That looks like a wild cat.
Yeah,
He's got big green eyes, and she's got.
It looks like a werecat. It looks like a werecat.
It's a Maine Coon. It's the
That's a good
largest
girl, yeah.
domestic breed. She's only a baby. There we go.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be on TV.
We got a black short hair just like that one. He looks like a jaguar.
Hey, hi, Gachi.
Well, I know where I'm getting my next 2 Chinese meals from.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. getting back to what we were talking about. So this is the problem with all of this. We just talked about the last one, which didn't prove anything. Now we talked about this one where, well, first off, we had an author tell us that aliens are real. What that means shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he has no evidence. He hasn't seen anything. He hasn't had any experiences. You don't know anybody had any experience. He's just going, oh, well, this one told me that and that one. No. Okay, that's enough of this. I've been saying this for 2 decades. No more of he said, she said. Either give us real witnesses or leave it alone.
Yeah.
If you can't get somebody who's actually been involved with the program, has been part of the program to come forward and say, hey, look, I was there. The Greys come by and stop on and check on us every so often. We do have some of their technology. We're trying to backwards engineer it, but it's so far ahead of us. It's still going to be decades before we really figure it out. But we're not going to do that. One, that tells the rest of the world where we are with our alien technology, and we don't know if they've got any or not. Two,
Well, we know some of them do.
well, I don't know if they do or not, because this is my problem with all of this. So I figure at the very least, let's say they're just 100 years more advanced. We're going to be really nice. All 3 races. We know it's not true, but we're going to say that. So right now, if the U.S. was to lose one of its craft in any country, especially if it was an F-35 or an F-22, we would retrieve it or destroy it. If you had our people, with the exception of Joe Biden for some reason, but every other president would have retrieved our people. Now, let's say that people have been taking multiple crafts and multiple people. We'd be in World War III right now. We would not allow that to happen. So you might say one alien race might go for this bullshit, but they're not going to all go for it. And I cannot see them letting us have any technology that we could use against them in the future.
No.
I just can't in reality see that. So when I hear statements like what he made, I have to stop and go, really? Well, this got to be the dumbest alien on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about how old some of these species are, I don't think they're dumb. I think they've been dealing with species like ours a long time. I mean, when they talk about the black-eyed children, the black-eyed people, they're talking about a race just like us, almost the same technological level, that are being taken by the aliens just like we are. They're part of the same program, whatever this program is. They seem, because they're seen with while we're taking them, and they see us while when we see them when they're taking us. And they're being seen on board the ships. So we know that it's not just our race that's being taken. We know that there's multiple reasons why they're taking us. We know that more than likely that we share DNA with at least 3 of the races. And what does that mean for us? What does it mean for us in the future? But what does this mean that happened in Congress? Well, we did have some pilots come forward and say, hey, why are they voting astronauts in? There have been so many astronauts that said they have seen shit. I'm kind of why. I mean, these are the guys we send into space looking for stuff, but for some reason, the ones who said they found it, we don't want to talk to.
Right.
And there's been quite a few of them come forward.
Their hearsay evidence doesn't amount to squat in congressional hearings.
So you got Edgar Mitchell, who said the damn thing practically landed on the lunar craft, but we're not going to talk about that. You've got Neil Armstrong saying they were told get off the freaking moon by aliens. We're not going to talk about that.
They're talking. Yeah, he was also talking about not one craft, but enough craft to line the entire perimeter of the crater they were on, and be watching them from however far away they were. I would be scared, absolutely, what-less, if I was on the moon and there's a whole fleet of spacecraft from another civilization looking at me on doing my scientific
Well,
thing.
when I talked to the reporter that interviewed him when he said that in Miami or in Florida, not in Miami, I think he was at Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy, whichever one it is. When he said this, he said that when he lifted off and he looked down into the crater, he said there were a bunch of saucers there, but they looked like they had channels or some type of tunnels connecting them. He said they were obviously individual craft. He said, but it looked like they had made him into like a little colony.
Right.
And so, I mean, this is from the guy who first got to put his foot on the moon, and we're going to ask him, well, you're an idiot. We're not going to. And he was a damn senator, and we're still calling him an idiot.
Yeah.
So we let him go at the time, let him drive the most expensive piece of anything we've ever built.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the moon, land on the moon, walk around on the moon, come back from the moon, become a senator, and we still say he's an idiot. He didn't see aliens, but all the rest of the stuff we think he did perfectly. I mean, come on. That shows you how humans are right there.
Yeah.
And so out of the 8 billion of us on the planet today, how many do you actually think believe that there's life other than us?
Not that many.
50%, 40%, 10%, 5%. So let's just do the United States. How many
people? What's the percentage of people that worldwide that graduate from college? I'd say that's probably closer to the amount of people that believe in aliens.
That's a tough one. I used to know that, but I haven't looked in a long time.
Hey Google, what's the percentage of people that have graduated college?
On the website collegetransitions.com, they say, as previously stated, around 44% of Americans 25 and older have attended college and completed their degree programs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say 44% is probably marginally a little bit more than I would guess, but it's less than half, but not quite, not as many as you would think. First world countries, college educated people. Third world country, no education. They don't believe in them.
What's that, Dean? What?
They're probably open to the idea though, but they probably don't believe in them.
No. This has nothing to do with this. That's okay. I'll read it real quick. The Ukrainian strikes Putin's estate with British missiles. He flew up his estate, huh? They just trying to start World War III over there. No, we're not getting into that. They're on their own, man. No, we're not getting in no nuclear war. Trump don't want to get in no nuclear wars. He's got kids and stuff. He don't want to get in there. But we're not talking about that anyway. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Whoops. Hey, Elon. Oh, I forgot Trump was with Elon. So what do you think? What do you think the amount of people in the United States that believe in alien life is?
I'd say less than 50%, 45%, like the Google said.
I'd say like 25%, 30 maybe.
I'm going to have to check this with other sources because this is even stunning to me. Last time I checked, it was 52%. Today, according to this, it's 65%.
Wow.
Unprecedented U.S. intelligence reports brings new attention to phenomena of unidentified flying objects. About 2/3 of Americans say their guess is that intelligent life exists on other planets. That's just America. I didn't do the whole planet.
That's 65% of America. I'm thinking worldwide, it's maybe 40%.
Oh, it's going to be lower than that, and I think it's lower than this in the United States because a lot of religious people have problems with this.
How can somebody who's not religious have a problem with it?
Well, because they want to think we're it.
With their sense of reality and their safety.
So let's see.
What about the people who think aliens are demons?
So now this one says 49% of Americans believe
those people mostly from like the demons of legend and lore are probably, some of them are aliens because
I would imagine
quite frankly some of the aliens are really scary looking.
I would imagine so.
I mean, the way you were describing the reptilians being domineering and
well, the ones that are in control they're not all like that.
No, a lot of, so to put this in perspective, I'm glad you said that because everyday reptilians are pretty much like everyday humans. Out of all the races that visit here, we're the most like them. We're built more like them. We have 5 fingers and 5 toes. We have the same kind of attitudes. We don't believe in one religion. We have multiple religions, multiple governments, but that's still because we're young, not older. But we act more like them. They act on their feelings like we do, or like we act on our feelings like they do. There's just a lot out of the other 3 races that visit here that do abductions. We are the most like them.
We were made in their image and their likeness, so we look like them and act like them. It's 100%.
So we know the reptilians gave us a big chunk of who and what they are, and they do like us. They don't dislike us. They don't. I mean, it's like when you meet your retarded cousin who you kind of like, but you still got to be nice to, whatever. I mean, it's kind of the same thing for them. They like.
But they listen to crappy music and are into comic books and stuff.
Not as far as I know, they're not. They
the cousin.
Yeah, the cousin probably does. They probably don't like our music. Well, some of our music they probably do, but I would imagine some of the great. I don't know because imagine their ears hear differently than ours do.
I have heard that they like Bach because he's very mathematical, but they
Maybe
also like
so.
Beethoven because he brings in emotions which they don't necessarily always have. So it really depends on the individual. But yeah, they do. For the most part, they like good music, mostly classical.
And you have to think like the amphibians are probably used to hearing whatever their music is from underwater, like the whales when they're singing. So they probably have a different, and like I said, they definitely have different ears than we do. So they're hearing music. See, that's something people forget about. We're talking about alien life that developed on alien worlds. Their eyes and ears are not going to be the same as ours.
They might be
They're
able
going
to
to
see
see in different spectrums,
whereas
yeah.
we cannot.
And we don't know what their sun was, where they were born. Was it yellow, bright, red, brown? Because different suns are going to have different effects on you. Of course, different gravity. Obviously, the grays did not come from a 1G or higher environment. They came from a lower G environment because
And
they're
they
built out
also
of
have those
cartilage.
contact lenses, which Colonel Corso calls light gatherers.
Yeah,
So
so
basically, it's a contact lens that gives you night vision.
yeah, it seems
And
like they
it sends
come
up
from.
displays on top of that.
Yeah, it seems like they come from a low light, low gravity environment, which could be Mars, could be somewhere else, but it does. The reptilians, on the
No,
other
they could
hand,
come
look
from the
like
Oort Belt. They could be from Pluto or
they could be.
Charon, one of those bodies out there.
The reptilians seem to fit fine on our planet. They may even come from a 2G environment, or some of them. See, there's just so many tribes now that we don't even know. There's probably different ones from different races. I mean, from different planets now that have been there long enough that they started to evolve.
That are like our size, but weaker than them.
I know we're running out of time, but I kind of had a little
7 minutes.
question.
We got 7 minutes. What you got?
If you were to be dreaming of meeting face to face otherworldly being, is that the same as having a memory of it? Is it like, did that actually happen?
Could be. It
Or is
depends.
that just a dream?
Could be a dream. It could be real. So almost all contact manifests in dreams first.
Almost anything that happens to you throughout the day manifests again that evening in dreams.
So,
and sometimes for the next 2 or 3 days.
Are the Queen Greys a lot? I'm guessing a lot more powerful telepathically, and kinetically than, like telekinetically than the short Greys.
Probably. Even though the short 3-foot gray scares the bejesus out of a reptilian or one of those human aliens. Matter of fact, from what I understand, they scare everybody but the other grays and the light beings, and they're only this tall. So whatever the telepathic powers are severe, or I shouldn't say severe, are really good.
If there's a short light gray, and then a tall, like very large head dark gray, is that the same species, just like two different age ranges, or are they separate? Like two different.
So the grays are broke up kind of in a color height line kind of thing. So you have the 3-foot grays, they're 3 and 4 foot on average. They also have the cyborg 3-foot grays that are controlled by the other 3-foot grays. They're half gray, half machine.
It's like a biological entity.
And then there's the retrieval guys, which are 5 foot, 6 foot, but they're not any more powerful as far as telepathy or telekinesis goes than the 3-foot grays. They have probably the same size head. Now, when you get into the escorts or the consorts and the queen, it's a whole different thing. There's not many of them. They're extremely powerful. Matter of fact, as far as I know, the only being that would challenge them in the known galaxy is the light beings. Nobody else would.
Why would one be kept in solitary confinement or captivity?
No queens or consorts would be being kept. The Greys would have came and took them. They would not even have put up with that for a little bit. They would, and if they would have, they would have wiped out an entire species to get to them.
What about if it was being sedated, or what if it was?
They would still know.
What if it was injured and it was being like medically treated?
The Greys would know. The Greys would know as soon as it was outside of their consciousness.
So, what if?
So let me real quick. So
they
you know
the Grey into a human.
So the gray always has a connection with its humans. With every human it takes, it keeps a connection with. That's how they know where they are. They don't use anything to track you. They know because they're connected to you through telepathy, or it's actually something probably more than telepathy, but they're connected to you that way. Well, they're also connected to every other member of the hive. Anything happening to any member of the hive is instantaneously transferred to the other one. If you do anything to harm their queen, they will be under like a hornet's nest. They would swarm you you wouldn't even know what hit you. They wouldn't even tolerate it for a second. That's their queen, and that's their consorts of the queen. They're not going to let anything happen to them. And I imagine there's other wannabe queens in other worlds that one day will replace this one, but we don't know. I mean, they say the Greys can live indefinitely. So I mean,
well, they have if you're saying like shows before, they have like a plug and play technology. When a husk is destroyed, even though like they're
I
up to
wonder
date
if they can
memories
do
in
that.
that body, they can just upload, and they might miss a few days or weeks worth of memories, but you just re-upload your previous save into a body.
I have heard this about the 3 and 5 and 6 foot Greys a lot. I have never heard this about the queens of the consort. I've never. I don't think I've ever asked a question. Maybe they're the ones that can't. Maybe when they die, they die.
I don't know.
Because they have such a lifetime.
You would think that
I would think,
would use
but
that same technology.
maybe it's because they're so big or so different.
There's a very specific reason why I'm asking those questions.
And what's that, youngin?
Because it was one of the most lucid dreams I've ever had. Like memorable. I don't know how to explain it. It seemed. Do you want me to go into detail?
You got 2 minutes, so go ahead. You better be quick.
It was like an underground or some type of, I don't know what, if it was underground, it was just huge, a laboratory or some type of facility where it was just huge. I couldn't even see how far away the walls were, and everything looked white. The floor was white. The everything was white. And anyway, I'm in a line and people are being taken through to, I really don't understand what was going on there. There was people walking around in lab coats. There was military looking people or like security guard looking people. And next thing you know, my name's being called and I'm the next person in line. And from the corner of my eye, I see a dark figure approaching with 2 military security looking personnel on either side of it, guiding it towards me. And it looked either very old and tired, or it looked weakened, like it could have been under sedation, or it was just getting really old.
You don't know what its feet look like, do you?
All I remember is that it had long appendages. I don't remember specifically what the feet looked like, but I can draw
what color what color was it?
Dark gray. And it had a huge head, and it almost like the back of its head looked like a shelf. Like it like was a huge head, and then it had like this like I don't know, like a part that stuck out, like a, I don't know how to explain it. It was huge.
You'll have to draw it. Well, no, the reason I was asking is because Charles Hall's tall whites aren't always white.
Yeah.
And they're really tall. And their appendages are really long. And, and the older they get, they actually get a little cranky when they get older too, but they do move around like they're slower and in pain and stuff like that. That's Charles Hall's description. I don't know for other than this description.
How it seemed is like either they were keeping it under some type of sedation and had to assist it.
So that means you were Area 50. You were at Area 53, and more than likely it was a handoff. So
what I'm getting at is they stood it right in front of me, and I woke up from this like it was a dream. They stood it right in front of me, and it locked eyes with me, and I was overtaken with fear to the point where I remember being like, what the heck's going on? And it took a step, and when it took a step towards me, it merged into my body, like it went into me, and then I'm looking up at the laboratory guy or the security military personnel, and they're all like, she's not under. She's not under. What are we going to do? And the other guy was like, oh, well, it's done now. And then I woke up. So I don't know. I could go into way more detail about it because there was like machinery looking things that I remember. I would describe it as what would look like a Stargate, circular, like big metal circle. And I was supposed to go up and like touch it and look at my reflection.
Oh,
I
some
don't
kind
know.
of reflecting pool. That sounds interesting. It's
Yeah. So anyway, that was just a crazy dream I had, and I wanted to get more information on the
well,
whole
we ain't gonna
like the
have much time to
older.
talk about it, but maybe on next week. But it does kind of sound like a handoff situation.
Yeah, Area 51 is where the Arcturians are, or the tall whites.
Yeah, Area 53.
Yep.
What's the difference?
I don't know why. So there's Area 51, 52, 53, and 54, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think.
Area
And,
52 is where it's called the Tonopah Range. It's where our F-117 fighters are based out of, and maybe I don't know, maybe the F-22s are based out of there too. I don't really know.
I don't know.
But
What was that, John? No, Charles Halls was the one who brought up Area 53. So
He was
after
the
he
weather
brought that up,
observer.
we started doing some checking and found out there was four big. It's actually one base under four names. It's one big area that's supposed to be connected underground and all.
Well, let's just say it like this: there are different facilities within the Nevada Nellis test range,
Yeah,
which is
that's
almost
a good
the
way of
entire
saying
state of Nevada.
it. Yeah, it's a big freaking chunk of it for sure.
Are they atomically bombing it on purpose?
No,
Like
they used
testing
to.
atomic bombs still?
They used to. No, we're not testing anymore. But yes, we used to test there.
And I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, I
was
wanted to
that,
bring. I'm
like,
glad you said that. I wanted to bring that up real quick. So you remember when that woman said that about people are getting hurt, but how can they prove it because it's happened from a
Doesn't
UFO?
exist, yeah.
Well, we didn't, but people sued Area 51 for dealing with that toxic chemicals and won, but
No,
never
actually,
proved the
I
existence of
believe
Area
they
51.
didn't sue Area 51. I believe they sued the CIA, who runs the facilities there, and then they proved.
Yeah, but the documents from front of the judge said Area 51, and he said, and I still remember this clearly. He goes, "Well, it clearly says in this document that Area 51 doesn't exist." He said, "But I'm finding it in your favor anyway." So there was the whole thing was because I remember the very beginning when it came out, everybody's like, well, Area 51 don't exist. How can you see something that don't exist? And then that's when they brought up the CIA, and then he said no. And he said, no, we're just going to sue the government over Area 51, and we're going to bring the documentation to prove that we were flown out on Janus jets every day, which is what they did. And the judge instantly
They're
ruled
still
in
doing
their
it.
favor.
They're
Well, they are
flying
still doing
stuff
it.
up.
But as far as anybody's concerned, Area 51 doesn't exist. And just because you're a president does not mean you get a free trip to Area 51. Now, Trump probably would because he's a second-term president. They wouldn't have brought Joe Biden. They wouldn't have brought Obama. Baby Bush only found out because Daddy Bush told him about it. And Reagan didn't seem to have the interest. He left that up to Daddy Bush. And
But they did tell Reagan. He was shown.
Oh, Reagan knew. He knew because
right in at Camp David in Maryland, and over a couple of weekends.
Well, we found out he knew because he instituted Pine Gap, which is a joint U.S.-British defense of outer space. He instituted the HARP facility, and he instituted Star Wars, which are all ways to destroy stuff. And the Star Wars lasers were way too big for shooting down missiles. So this was, and he also introduced the Thor program. So what's that? It's not actually the name of it. What's the name of Thor's hammer? They dropped in big.
Mjolnir is the name of the hammer.
Yeah, they drop them from space. They drop these not Teflon.
I believe they showed something similar in one of the Transformers movies. They called it a javelin, and it's a tungsten rod that they drop, and just gravity accelerates it to the point when you fall from gravity, it's 33 1/3 feet per second that you gain speed, and they just drop it. By the time it hits the earth, it's like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating. It depends on the size of the rod, but they were showing them. They were pretty badass. But these are all programs he instituted for the defense of our planet from something. And remember, he gave 7 speeches where he said the planet would unite against alien invasion.
7 public speeches. How many times did he say it in private to the Joint Chiefs?
So there's no doubt that he knew about it. There's no doubt that he worried about it. So that showed you right there. Not only did he know about it, but he had fear about it, which should make everybody go, wait, why does the
Something
U.S.
ain't
president have...
stirring the Kool-Aid
Yeah.
with this story. I've been looking at it since I was 10, 11 years old. I'm 58. You do the math.
Yeah, there's something...
I want it to be, a positive thing, but, the fact that they're hiding from us and having our governments help them hide from us, that spells out something sinister.
So, Frankie, anyway, tonight's conclusion on the thing, because we got to go, is that it was basically, Dell didn't really tell us much of anything. It's not going to change anybody's opinions other than the fact that Congress is looking into it, which does help. The fact that Congress is looking at this in a serious way, and I did hear some of these young ladies asking questions yesterday that were pretty pointed questions, and they said, please don't waste my time because this isn't going to happen often. They wanted to know the truth. And we need to know the truth. What do you mean? I know the truth. I'm not really worried about it like everybody else is, but it's
I'm not worried about it. I just want to know why.
Why? Because you're special. You're a special person.
I think part of the why is that I think there was an accident, a very, very fatal accident on this planet, which was not involved in any sort of galactic war. And the races involved, the reptiles, the insects, the grays, the light beings, all of them are here to fix what they did to whatever was on this planet before. And they're trying to build it back to that level. And then once they do, they're going to be like, hi, sorry, we didn't mean to explode your planet a million years ago.
Now that explains some things, but it still doesn't explain the Sumerians.
Doesn't
and
explain
the
everything,
and
but
the
it's a
reptile.
start.
It doesn't explain how we came to be through the Sumerian, through the human aliens and the reptilians. That seems to be more like the reptilians were just pissed off. I never did understand that. I mean, so when you read the Sumerian text and when you listen to the Dogon stuff, I mean, it clearly talks about they just came, took the women, brought them back to the village, raped them, brought them back pregnant, made sure they were pregnant, brought them back, and let them have the babies. And the babies were born they were different. They weren't looking different. They just had a different attitude. They were like, we're not plowing the field. You go plow the fucking field. And when there was enough of them, there was a rebellion. Maybe that's what's part of the problem was maybe them stupid idiots got hold of some weaponry that they shouldn't, because we talk about nuclear blast on the planet in the past and in a revolution that the reptilians may have caused.
There's a
indirectly
mark
or
on the
directly.
Earth somewhere in the Sinai area that looks like from the air like an explosion hit the ground. It's a permanent burn mark in the ground.
And you would have to think, how could some lonely humans, especially upstart humans, get rid of a race with two cities on the planet that are so advanced? They had to have something. I mean, because they left. So there must have either been just overwhelming numbers or something they got their hands on that made them leave. We don't know. None of us were there, Jack. And this is a much earlier date than we think it is. So every time we turn around, oh, wait, God damn, we gotta go. So they dated the pyramids off the coast of Cuba. You heard that, huh? 50,000 years.
How many?
50,000. 50,000. They
Not
dated
50.
That is such a substantial thing. I mean,
So,
and I didn't know the largest pyramid in the world was in South America. I thought it was in Egypt.
No, there's one in Guatemala or Mexico that's just a little bit bigger than the big one in Giza. The one in Chichen Itza, I think the Temple of the Sun it is, which is the biggest one at that complex, is exactly the same base width size of the Giza Cheops pyramid. That's kind of amazing that they're the exact same. They're 484 feet square, I think, both of them.
That's a whole nother
really hard to duplicate.
Christopher, we gotta go. You know what? Hold on, let me look at something right quick before we roll out of here. World population's around 32%, if that's what you're asking. Around there. America's population is not 65%. I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. I know too many people, and too many people look at me like I'm crazy when I say the word UFO. Yes, and since there's no big movements in the country, you have to Okay, what the hell happened there? Oh, the screen popped off there for a second. Let me see, Michael.
Is it derogatory to say alien?
Alien.
No, aliens don't care.
No, like,
They know they didn't
is
belong
there
here.
is there a proper term to
Alien.
identify?
I don't know.
EVE is another one, extraterrestrial biological entity. There's also ENBE, extraterrestrial non-biological entity, like for the mechanical and artificial intelligences out there.
Jay's brain is sharp, baby. It's sharp. What was I looking for?
Gotta get it pretty early in the morning if you want to squeeze one past me, Leah.
Oh, what the hell was I going looking for now? I forgot what I was going looking for. It's damn it, what was I looking for?
It had something to do with ancient alien theory. Or were we talking about Sumeria? That kind of whatnots?
No. Anyway, I was looking for something specific, but hell if I can remember now. And it was in my email, whatever it was. Jackie, I don't know, man. If I remember, I will share it with y'all and tell you. I don't know. I was going to my email for something I remember. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Friday's guest. I'm sorry. Now I remember. So sometimes my brain actually works. Not all the time, but sometimes. We also are, if anybody's got any information on venues, we're testing new venues. We use StreamYard, and it seems to be getting its shit together all of a sudden. But still, we are testing other ones because we have had some weird problems with StreamYard. It looks like most Facebook worked correctly tonight, but still.
Yeah, there's still some minor, what's that, software glitches, I guess. Roku comes in and out throughout the show.
So let's see. Where is he? Joe Davis is going to be our guest this week. He describes himself as a blue dot in a sea of red in Utah.
Wow.
But there's other things him and I talked about that I was generally interested in. So if y'all want to know about him, I did a show with him and last week's guest on Arthur's Quill about 3 weeks ago. You can find it. And it'll tell y'all what we were actually talking about. What is that, Marcus? Yes. No, he's a good guest. You'll enjoy him. What do you mean? Why do we do guests? Oh, you mean on the news on the flip side? No, we do guests. We were in political season. We couldn't do any guests. Shit, the last hour and a half were polls and discussion of polls. The first hour and a half was just news. And we still do news. We still do news. We just don't do politics anymore. Unless there's something outrageous.
And aliens now, the way it should be.
News and aliens, news and whatever, news and Jesus. So anyway, I meant to say that again. So since we got a guest this week, probably week after next is when we're going to do the Jesus. So I just got to think. I want to talk with the host because it is going to be the day before. Oh no, it's going to be the day after Thanksgiving. Oh well, that's fine. I keep thinking that's a Friday show. Never mind, we're good. Yeah, so it'll be the day after Thanksgiving. People will be. Y'all need to come sit down and listen to us talk about the man. Bring your stuff with you, people. Bring your literature. Bring your proof. Bring whatever you think. Huh?
Prunes?
Yeah, bring your proof. Bring your proof that Jesus was a man and that he lived. And other than religious stuff, people, this isn't based on faith. This is based on fact. Okay, y'all got that under control. Fact based, not. Yes, there we go. And that will help y'all out. No, I'm not getting paid to get a flu shot. Sorry, that ain't gonna happen. Anyway, let me close this up. We got to get out of here, ladies and gents, because we've done run over now. We were 35 minutes late, so we're just picking up our time. On that note, we got to get now. You can actually see Leah and see that she really is an alien. I mean, look at him eyes, man. Them freaking alien eyes. If I ever saw any, man. Them scary ass alien eyes. That's what she looks like. That's before she was cloned.
Yeah,
that's her head back there. Yes, I keep it as a souvenir. Whoa. Yeah.
We call it Alien Bob just to throw everyone off the scent.
That's right. We don't want you to know. And look, one of her blue eyes is in there. You can see it right there.
Mm-hmm.
We kept it as a souvenir. Oh, just weirdos. Anyway, on that note, we've got to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio. I hope you enjoyed the show. There was a couple of comments that came across. I'd like to dig into more. We don't have the time tonight. May Lou, I've seen that comment you put in there. I'd like to talk to you more about that. I'd like to talk more about the I was going to say the hawks, the crows, and things like that. But that's for future shows. That also is stuff that we can do on news on the flip side on the after part of the show after we do the news. But on that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio, UFO Paranormal Radio, and UFO Undercover with Jay, Joe, and Leah. Until
Thank
next week, and
you.
have some fun. Don't forget, we'll be here Friday night causing nothing but happy.
You
Good
guys
night,
could play No
everybody.
Man's Sky. It'd be really fun.
Oh, Lord. She's recruiting. Oh, wait. What is this blue sky?